thinking of getting chickens. Yeah, I know. There's me last week dissing idiots who make bread because you can buy bread in shops. Well, now I'm thinking of getting chickens because they make eggs. Yes! They come through their backsides. I don't know how they do it. Is it a good idea or is it a terrible idea? And also, let's just throw the switchboards open, shall we? If you want to call up and have a chat, say hello, have a whinge about your sciatica, anything, to be honest. Do I sound desperate? You can. 08459 455 555. I guess what I'm trying to say is today we are lowering our standards ever so slightly. We're opening the door to anyone. Even you can give us a call. 08459 455 555. You can send me a cheeky text if you want, 81333. Start your text 3CR. Or you can go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/BBC 3CR. But, to be honest, I think a phone call will be better this morning.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Let's start with a little bit of David Bowie and then see where we go. It's going to be that kind of freewheeling nonsense today. Sometimes they're the best. Let's be honest, sometimes they're the worst shows. You just can't tell. 08459 455 555. Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. A little bit of David Bowie at 6:06 on a bank holiday Monday. Oh, we're spoiling you. If you like David Bowie, that is. If you don't like David Bowie, then we're ruining you. Not literally. That's what an unpleasant image that is. I'm really sorry. It's a bank holiday show, and I don't want to sound desperate, but the normally well-crafted, well-honed, oiled machine that is BBC Three Counties Breakfast is falling off its wheels are coming off ever so slightly. We haven't got a lot of content this morning. And everyone keeps saying, oh, no, don't flag up we haven't got content. I'm guessing you'll notice. I might as well flag it up because you'll notice. So, if you want to give us a call on any of the things we're talking about this morning, light-hearted or otherwise, 08459 455 555, and we'll even let those people on that when we see their numbers flash up on the screen we go, oh God, not them. We'll even let them on. I believe my producer Laura is talking to one of those gentlemen now today, very important day. Happy Benefits Day, everybody, because thousands of people across Beds, Herts and Bucks will be affected by the biggest overhaul of the benefit system this country has seen since the creation of the welfare state in the 1940s. The council tax benefit is being scrapped and the housing benefit reduced from today. Well, our reporter Lorna Hankin has been looking into this story. Lorna, this is part of a bigger change to the welfare system, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Well, under the Welfare and Reform Bill, the Work and Pensions Secretary, Iain Duncan-Smith, plans to bring in single universal credit to replace 6 income-related work-based benefits. Now, for new claimants, that won't happen until October, but before then, other benefits are being changed, replaced or axed altogether. And from today, housing benefit will be reduced and council tax benefit scrapped.
Now, there are changes to housing benefit that lots of people have lazily called the bedroom tax.
That's
what is it?
That's right. Well, yeah, it's hit the headlines, of course, because it has been deemed the bedroom tax by Labour and many critics. Basically, housing benefit is aimed at people who struggle to pay their rent because they have a low income, irrespective of whether they work or not. From today, families deemed to have too much living space by their local authorities will receive a reduced payment. Now, if tenants are deemed to have one spare room, the amount of rent eligible for housing benefit is being cut by 14%. If they have 2 or more spare bedrooms, the cut will be 25%. Now, the government says that will mean an average loss of about £14 a week for council tenants and about 16 for those renting from a housing association. Now, the new rules allow 1 bedroom for each adult or couple. Children under the age of 16 are expected to share if they are the same gender, and those under 10 are expected to share whatever their gender.
This is quite a lot for poorer families. We've spoken to some of them on this show. What are people affected by this saying?
Well, the government estimates that 655,000 households will have their benefits cut, which is roughly a third of the social sector claimants. Now, we spoke to Christine Cuttleton from Sheffield, who has ME and claims housing benefit. She lives in a 2-bedroom house and will end up having to pay around £15 more a week.
Initially, I thought I would be able to do that, and I was prepared to try to do that. And I had hoped to be back working either part-time, ideally full-time. I'm now having to face up to the fact that that is not going to be possible.
There are exceptions, aren't there?
There are. Now, only those of working age will see reduced payments. If either half of a couple are of pensionable age, they will not see any reductions to housing benefit. But come October, both of them will need to be over pensionable age, or one will need to be in receipt of pension credit in order to qualify for the maximum benefit. Now, foster carers and families of armed service personnel will be exempt. Disabled tenants will be allowed a bedroom for full-time live-in or overnight carers. If a full-time carer is a husband, wife or partner, then they will be expected to share a room. However, they can apply for a housing payment from their local authority if the disability means the partner needs to sleep in another room. Now, if your child is a student, that's fine, as long as they stay at the home for 2 weeks in the year. But come October, when universal credit comes in, they have to stay at home for at least 6 months to avoid a benefit cut. And
what's happening to council tax benefit?
Well, in a nutshell, it's being scrapped. Now, this is for people on low incomes to pay their council tax bill. In many cases, people do not pay any council tax. But from today onwards, depending on where they live, depends on how much they're going to have to start paying. Now, the government are cutting funding for this by 10% and handing the responsibility of it over to local councils. Luton and Watford, for example, will not be charging people who are on the benefit any extra, but for people living in Hemel Hempstead and the Welwyn Hatfield area, they have to start paying 25% of the bill from today onwards. In Milton Keynes, where Elliot Lowe lives, it's 20%, and he says he might have to move.
Up until the 1st of April, we've received full benefits, so council tax wasn't an issue for us. And we mainly received that because I'm not able to work, because I'm classified as a full-time carer for my disabled son and my wife, who has osteoarthritis and other health problems. Now, as of the 1st, our council tax bill is now, I think it's £216 and a penny. But it's not just the loss of the council tax benefit that concerns and worries me. It's also, obviously, with this new universal credit and the capping system the government are bringing in, I'm also set to lose £150 per week of housing benefit when I only get 176. And if that happens, I'll have no other alternative but to move to a smaller property, and that's affecting my family completely.
Lorna, why is this happening?
Well, it's being introduced because the government argues that millions of people have become trapped on benefits. It says it wants to see a system where people are always better off in work and they would be on benefits. Now, the counter-argument is not all people on benefits are in that situation by choice. It's worth noting here that there is help out there for people affected by the changes. There's the Citizens Advice Bureau, where the local branches across the 3 counties and some councils as such, like Milton Keynes and Aylesbury's, have actually set up hotlines to help people with any concerns.
Lorna, thank you very much indeed. 08459 455 555 is a telephone number. You can give us a call about that. I had an email at the weekend from Mark. Mark sent me a cheeky little... It wasn't cheeky at all. It was very polite. Mark from Bletchley. Iain, I attended the bedroom tax protest today in London. This is on Saturday. At first, I thought there were only going to be a small handful, but within 2 hours, it grew to a massive lot. We met up at 12 p.m. in Trafalgar Square, and then just before 2 p.m, we made our way slowly down to Whitehall. It's the biggest protest I've been on. Now, Mark, if you're listening, give us a call, because I'd heard that there were only about 1,000 people at this protest. This bedroom tax, Mark continues, means I've got to get a job urgent, or council won't take too many months in arrears of a rent before they start eviction process. Now, if you were at these protests at the weekend in London, 08459 455 555. But Mark raises another interesting point, because Mark also goes on to say, so he's been to the bedroom tax protests. My last odd protests were against BBC local radio cuts outside Broadcasting House and Chris Patton's office. Strange, it must be an age thing. I'm in my mid-50s and seem to disagree with a lot of what's going on. So Mark is a serial protester. I've never been on a protest. I've never been to a protest in my life. I'm trying to think. I very nearly... You remember when... do you remember? Remember the Iraq War, when that started? I was going to go on the protests against that. And then something better came up. I know, something better came up than protesting against war. How lazy and lame is that? Isn't that awful? I don't think I feel strongly enough about anything to warrant going on a protest. I'd feel a little bit self-conscious. Just there, I certainly couldn't hold a placard. Oh, no. I mean, really, I couldn't. And the chants... You have to do it. We want cuts now. Do it now. Get him out. I couldn't do that. What protests have you been on, dear listener? Do you do them regularly? Do you see them as a little bit of a jolly? You think, oh, it'll be nice, meet up with the lads and we'll go and have a McDonald's in town and it'll be a nice day out? Or do you go because you feel passionately, you feel strongly about these things that are happening? 08459 455 555. Can we find the person? Let's throw this out on a bank holiday Monday. Can we find the listener who's been on the most protests? And why did you go? What did you get out of it? Because I'll be honest, and full respect to Mark for making his feelings known at the weekend against these changes in benefits, but you must have known, Mark, these changes were going to have no effect whatsoever. It's the law now. These changes have come in. So going on a protest, it's kind of... I knew the protest against the Iraq War 10 years ago. I knew it wasn't going to have any effect. Over 1 million people went on that march, according to some the figures, it didn't have any effect. Protests don't, do they, really? It's not the 1960s. It's not civil rights protests where they did possibly have some change. A lot of people walking down the street shouting stuff and carrying placards. It doesn't have any effect, does it? As much as I admire people who are... have the chutzpah to get off their backsides and go and walk down a street shouting something. Protests themselves don't really do anything, do they? 08459 455 555. What protests did you go on? Why? Did it have any effect whatsoever? Or was it just a fun day out with you and your mates? BBC Three Counties Radio. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to call in. What protests have you ever been on? I'll be talking chickens later on. I know. If you own chickens, stay tuned because I may need some advice.
Every weekday from 3, Roberto Perrone with the best local news stories.
There's a sporting story emerging.
Paul Buckle has left Luton Town Football Club by mutual consent.
The owners of the Centre MK have withdrawn a part of an application regarding the Primark development.
Local talking points.
The Hertfordshire Police and Crime Commissioner, Mr David Lloyd, has a plan to get sponsorship for police cars.
The best local travel.
There's been another day of disruption on the Thameslink line today.
We were like evacuating from the train and we had to go back to Ratchet and now we're waiting for the bus.
Roberto Perrone, every weekday from 3 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
That music, I actually found myself, and I'm glad that the team in the studio next door didn't see me, I actually found myself doing some body popping to it. Yeah, when I say body popping, I was doing the thing where you put your hand out and you kind of flip down your arm and it goes through your body and comes out the other arm. I was doing that. Roberto will be so pleased to know that I've been body popping to his trail. I think it would impress him very, very much indeed. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you wish to give me a call. And that's the number that Peter in Walmer Green has dialed. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning.
How are you on this wonderful, happy Jesus Rising Day?
I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine. What I was trying to wanted to raise to start with.
Yes, Peter.
I saw a picture in the Daily Mail.
Oh.
Yeah. That showed you a queue of people in Whatley in New Hampshire.
A queue of people in Whatley in Hampshire?
Yeah.
What?
Queuing for a job.
Oh.
Now, these are normal people, not monsters like they are portrayed in the media. What? They're not to benefit cheats or anything like that.
Well, no, if they're going for a job,
unemployed people.
Yes, yeah, but unemployed people aren't monsters, are they?
Well, a lot of the media sort of attempt to portray them in that way.
I've been unemployed.
Well, I know, but lots of people still attempt to portray them in that way, and it's all wrong, really.
Well, it's good. So 30 people queuing for one job, was it?
There was a queue of 4,000, I reckon.
Hang on, you said there were 30?
No.
Yes, you did.
No, I did not say 30.
You said you. Oh, did you not? Maybe I imagined that then.
No, there was a queue of 4,000.
4,000 people for one job.
Well, no, there was jobs going in a new supermarket type area. You know, one of these.
Yep.
Training centres.
Yes.
And that was in Whatley in Hampshire.
And did you go for a job?
No, I don't live in that area.
Oh, okay.
But what I'm saying is,
yes,
they would look like normal people like you and I.
Well,
not
you call yourself normal, Peter.
Claimants.
Yes. Well, this is the thing. These benefit claimants do get a bad press, and there was that naughty lady last week who I think was on Jonathan Vernon Smith's show, who claims the equivalent of a £70,000 a year job in benefits. They are the exception.
Well, yes. You see, now if you tried to find another place, 5 of those, you would be hard pushed.
They are an exception.
And that's right.
Pete, ever been on a protest?
Yes.
What for?
The disabled people. The disabled people.
What were they after?
Pardon?
What were they after? What were you trying to help them with?
They were also having benefits cut. That was some time. That was over a year ago now.
Did it have any effect whatsoever?
Well, no. Well, no, not really. But it does bring to mind people walking about. They do see these people in wheelchairs, people with no arms and legs. They do see the people it's affecting.
Yeah.
And it brings to mind for some people how wrong some of the things are.
But people see the people that are affected by these various marches and things, but then they forget about it. It gets maybe 20 seconds on the news, or they might walk past them and think, oh, God, but all these people in wheelchairs, get out of the way, I want to go to Boots.
No, but that's a criticism of our society, really.
Totally.
That's a criticism of our society.
Totally, but we forget, we think, oh, isn't that a shame? And then we forget, don't we?
Well, no, not really. I mean, I haven't forgotten. Not all the people who went on the marches. And I heard stories, basically, that there was a sort of different method of protest that may start to happen because people are so angry.
What's this different method of protest that might happen?
It's called crocodile continuous crossing the pedestrian crossing in different batches.
It's called crocodile crossing?
Yeah, like children do. But continuously crossing pedestrian crossings. That would put the cat amongst the pigeons.
Yeah, and this is... Hang on a minute. So you get like a zebra crossing and a pelican crossing, and people will just...
whatever it is, whatever sort of crossing it is.
And they will just keep crossing it all day?
Continuously.
That would certainly put the crocodile amongst the cats, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. 150 batches, and that would really put the crocodile... But you're right in that term.
But would it change anything, Peter? Someone crossing on a road...
Well, it'll stop the headless Well, it'll make the politicians headless chickens, if you like.
Now, speaking of chickens, Peter, I'm glad you did that. Because I'm seriously thinking of buying 3 hens.
Yeah.
Have you ever had hens?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, through the wartime years, we didn't want to go hungry.
No. So, you had chicks?
I was a youngster and I had chickens and I had... well, you've got to have a cockerel anyway.
Oh, I'm not going to get a cock. I'm not having one of those.
Well, you got to have a broom in your hand to stop the cockerel attacking you, but you have to have a cockerel.
I don't want a cockerel. They're too noisy.
Well, yes, but it's really necessary to have a cockerel amongst the hens.
I don't want baby chicks. I just want every morning for me and my
baby chicks are eggs.
Yeah, but you don't need the cockerel to make the eggs.
No. I know you don't.
Okay.
You need a cockerel to protect them, really.
Okay. Well, listen. Thank you very much, Peter. Much appreciated.
I won't laugh at you when you boo-hoo-hoo, 'cause I love you. I can turn my back on the things you like, 'cause I love you. I just like the things you do. Don't you change the things you do.
Wait, you have a bit of Slade? You don't hear Slade anymore. If you listen to some of the Slade singles, they're wonderful. They're like 3-minute Led Zeppelin songs. And the only reason, I genuinely believe this, the only reason Slade don't have the same respect as Led Zeppelin, two things. That flipping Christmas song, and the fact they wore ridiculous clothes and top hats with mirrors on and stuff like that. If they had dressed a little bit more rock, then Slade would be looked upon as one of the great British bands of all time. They're not, they're laughed at, but they're fantastic. Seriously, kids, go and treat yourself to a Slade Greatest Hits CD. You'll probably download it illegally from a torrent sharing site, you naughty, naughty people. Go and get a Slade Greatest Hits and rock out. Rock out. Yeah, like the young people are going to be listening to a show where the presenter says rock out. What an idiot. 08459 455 555. Here's the travel news now. It's David Rees.
Beds, Herts and Bucks travel.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's all looking pretty quiet this morning. Park Street, I can tell you, I've got the camera up at Park Street roundabout, North Alder Road. That's flowing freely, and that's kind of how it is around the rest of the three counties at the moment. The High Road, the A409 at Rising Home Road, if you're heading into London, temporary lights are up because of gas main works. Also for New Road in High Wycombe, temporary lights at Fern Fields and Squirrel Lane. And for Fenny Stratford, the A5, some restrictions around Little Chef roundabout, Watling Street. No problems to report on the trains that are running at the moment, but there are some weekend engineering works. Express. First Capital Connect suspended at St Pancras International London Bridge because of works there. Virgin Trains, Birmingham New Street to Wolverhampton. If you're heading further out, there's a replacement bus as well. And Chiltern Railway suspended Marylebone to Amersham due to those engineering works. I'm David Rees, BBC Three Counties Radio.
David, thank you very much indeed. It's 6:30. Let's get the latest news and sport now with you and Duncan.
Getting beds, hearts and bugs talking.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. Nearly 19,000 people in Beds, Herts and Bucks are due to be affected by changes to housing benefits which are being introduced today. The spare room subsidy, or bedroom tax as it's become known, will affect families who are deemed to have too much living space. The appointment of the Italian footballer Paolo Di Canio as manager of Sunderland has led David Miliband to resign as the director of the club. Di Canio has spoken in the past of his support for fascist political views. The South African government says there's been a further improvement in the condition of Nelson Mandela. The 94-year-old former president, who's suffering from pneumonia, has spent a fifth night in hospital. And the history of Elstree Studios is being made into a film to mark its centenary. People who work there, including actors such as Sir Roger Moore, are being interviewed to form an archive of its past. And it'll be mainly dry today, but cloudy with some bright or sunny spells. It'll continue to feel cold as the maximum temperature reaches 5 degrees Celsius. BBC Three Counties Radio, first for news.
Across Beds, Herts and Bucks, this is Iain Lee on BBC Three Counties Radio.
So, Elstree is making a film about Elstree. The BBC disappeared up its own backside the other week, banging on about Television Centre, when, let's be honest, no one really cares about Television Centre, apart from people who work at the BBC. Why are all these media outlets so self-congratulatory? No one in the real world cares. No one cares. Listen, I care about Television Centre because I've worked there, but that's it. You don't care, I'm pretty sure. And what is going on with David Miliband? Why are we hearing so much about David Miliband at the moment? Oh, I'm going to leave politics because I don't like my brother. Oh, my brother upset me, so I'm going to move to another country. Yeah, and I don't like that man, so I'm not going to play football with him anymore. Oh, Miliband, jog on. No one cares about what you're thinking. Go to the States. Go and earn your £300,000 a year. Go and sell out your constituency and not forgive your brother. Deary me. 08459 455 555. A rapping UKIP member next. Yeah, I know.
Good times. These are the good times. Leave your cares behind. These are the good times. Good times. These are the good times. All new state of mind. These are the
hackers launching another cyber attack. Did you hear about this at the weekend? The last few weeks, apparently the internet has been slowing down because there are some hackers. I got confused with the facts, as I often do. I think they're from Holland, were hacking a site in London and it was slowing the whole internet down. Well, the internet's either someone has spent the weekend downloading a lot of video and film onto this computer in the studio, or those hackers are at it again. I know that Paul Scoins was operating the studio last night. He could be. I'm scared to think what it might be. But I can't get our Facebook page to update properly. Look, now the computer's frozen. I can't get Twitter to refresh. What on earth is going on with the internet? It's all right. Producer Laura, what are you saying?
Do you need some help?
No, I don't need to. Do I sound stressed?
Yeah, a little bit.
It's only 6:35. It's not a good start to the thing. No, I don't. It's just very slow and it frustrates me. It's like being on 56k dial-up again. Hello?
Hi, I was just getting my head around what that was again.
Do you remember 56k dial-up?
I remember dial-up.
That was the beep, and it would take forever, like a minute to load. Well, this is the same effect I'm having here in 2013 at the BBC.
But this is the thing, Ian. It's bank holiday.
Yeah.
We're chilling. We're relaxing.
Correct.
We're taking things at a slower pace this morning.
You're only saying that to convince yourself because let's be honest, you're like a well-structured, tight ship, packed full of news.
Yeah.
And today all we've got is a UKIP wrapper and chickens, and that's pretty much what has to sustain us for 3 hours, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to make it. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. I know it's true. We have got a UKIP wrapper. We're coming to the end of party conference season, but there was one speech that you might not have heard. Dan Dukes from Bedford made his debut speech at the UKIP party conference this year at the age of 16. Listen, to make a speech anywhere at 16, it takes a lot of balls, I think. To do it at a party conference, those are intimidating places. Well, in it, he rapped a scathing review of the three main party leaders. Here's a little bit of the speech concerning Ed Miliband, and before that, David Cameron.
We stand for flat tax, business and fewer cuts, when all you have given us is ifs and buts. So next time you call us fruitcakes and loonies, know in 2 years you'll lose your PM juices. You are a fool. Being on the opposition, it doesn't make you cool. How can you stand up for the working class? You need to stop talking out of your...
Steady. Oh, I panicked then for a second. Oh, I panicked then. Well, Dan Dukes joins me now. Morning, Dan.
Good morning.
Dan, how long have you been involved in politics?
I've been involved with politics since I turned 16. Well, since I was old enough, I guess.
And what got you interested in politics in general? Because I remember at 16 being interested in computer games and the Knight Rider.
Well, the thing is with politics is that it has a stigma for being sort of boring at someone my age, but I find that the issues discussed are quite interesting. For example, should we have our membership of the European Union? Should we carry on paying £50 million a day to the European Union? Also the issues of gay marriage. These are all things that they're important to society, but they're actually quite interesting the more you look into them. Do you know what I mean?
So why UKIP, Dan? Why was UKIP the party for you?
Well, they're the only party for me because it's the only alternative to the Lib Lab Con, isn't it? As I've described in my speech, UKIP is not just what I would describe as what many describe as an old boys club. We have a wide-ranging manifesto and cover issues such as immigration, energy, tax. Our tax rate is quite something that's close to my heart because at the end of the day, you cannot tax yourself out of an economy. So we need low tax.
What does that mean? I don't understand that phrase.
Flat tax.
You can't tax you can't tax yourself out of an economy. What does that mean?
You can't tax yourself out of a recession.
Right. Okay. Right. I see what you mean.
Sorry.
But do you? I mean, there are some people who might be listening to this, Dan. Let me play devil's advocate for just a second. Who might say, "Come on, now, you're only 16. You don't pay tax on pocket money. What do you know about tax? What would your response be to those people?"
My response to those people would be that I already pay VAT, and that soon enough I will be taxed, and I would most likely be paying a higher rate of tax than I ever have been.
What do your friends at school think, Dan?
They think that it's quite. They think it's quite interesting, but they're quite pleased that sort of I found something passionate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Were you, and I'm going to ask you a question, please don't think I'm being rude. Were you, you say that you found something you're passionate about. Were you a little bit aimless before you found politics, would you think?
Possibly, yeah. I moved to Bedford from Birmingham, and I was new to the area, and I got involved in this from one way or another, and it has motivated me, I would say so.
Are your family involved in politics at all?
No. They're very interested, but so far we haven't had any Dukes politicians.
Can I ask, do you know what way do your family vote?
They vote Conservative.
Okay. And when you came downstairs one day and came out, as it were, and said, "Mum, Dad, I'm UKIP," what did they say?
Well, my dad was very supportive, to be honest.
Yeah.
He didn't mind. He glad I found something that I wanted to get involved in and that I was interested in, so that wasn't an issue, whereas my granddad, Dukes, I'm sure he might think a little bit differently about that.
Is he a bit of a Labour man?
No, Conservative.
Right. Okay. And when you went to your first meeting, Dan, I've never really been to. I've been to some of the conferences. I've never been to kind of a local political meeting. I imagine it to be a room full of old men in tweed, smoking pipes. Here, ha ha. When you walked in as a 16-year-old lad, what kind of reaction did you get?
Well, the first time I turned up to one, actually I overdressed a bit. I turned up to a local meeting in a suit, when everyone else was in like a shirt and just a polo and some jeans. I felt a bit out of place. So,
well, no, good for you for raising the standard a bit. They should be wearing suits.
Absolutely.
And then, how did you get the chance to speak at the conference?
Well, I had my idea for a couple of lines about David Cameron. So I sat down. I used my imagination. I carried on thinking up extra lines, and it kind of grew from there. And then I got in touch with the overall party chairman, his name's Steve, and I said, I've got this thing that I want to do, can I have the opportunity? And he said, yeah.
Oh,
but the great thing is, with UKIP, it's not stage managed like the other three parties would be. They listen to their members and they allow the members to express themselves, you know what I mean?
And so I bet Steve, to be honest, thought this is cracking. We've got a young lad who's going to come up on stage and show the world that we're not, a band of loonies. We're not just a bunch of grumpy old men. We've got youth on our side.
Well, there is a youth branch in UKIP. There's a youth wing. There was recently an election for chairman. There's about 1,000 members in that.
Right.
And there is a lot of young interest in UKIP, and you can kind of get the feeling that it's sort of becoming cool.
Yeah.
To support UKIP in a way, to be young.
Why a rap, Dan? That takes courage unknown to get up on stage in front of a party conference and do a rap.
Well, I would prefer to describe it as a poem, personally.
Right. Okay.
But I wanted to do something a bit different, because I guess if you get everybody's voices for hours and hours, would get monotonous.
Yeah.
So I thought, right, let's give this a go. Let's do something different, bring something different to the table. So that's what I did.
You mentioned, I think you referenced William Hague in your speech. He made his first conference speech at 16 and went on to become leader for a while, and then became a very successful career in politics. Do you kind of see yourself as another William Hague?
UKIP's own William Hague.
It could work. It's a catchy title. Is that how you perceive yourself? Would you like to go off in politics?
Yes, I would. I would like to stand for MP. Yes.
Yeah.
Especially in Bedford.
Dan, do you think that UKIP they're having a brilliant time at the moment in the spotlight, with coming second in the Eastleigh by-election?
In the last three as well.
They're doing really well at the moment. Do you think that their success is sustainable, or is it just a reaction against the coalition?
I do think that the success is sustainable. There was a poll in Eastleigh that we do actually take votes off all three parties, not just the Conservatives. And I think that a lot of what the Conservatives say, and people have worked this out now, is they all talk, but there's no actual substance to what they say. There's no results. David Cameron, I don't like Europe, but he's not going to pull us out. Do you know what I mean?
Is pulling out of Europe really a feasible thing to do, though? Because we have so many ties with Europe. We're so connected to it. It helps us with so much business. Is pulling out feasible?
Well, if we pulled out, I'm sure Mercedes would still want to sell us their cars. And we wouldn't have to pay £50 million a day. And I'm not sure, not many people know this, but over 70% of our laws are actually made in Brussels, not our own parliament.
Yes. But they don't. The whole thing about straight bananas and things is a myth, isn't it? There's a lot of kind of fear mongering in some of the press about the actual impact that Europe has on us. There's the thing about we're going to have our bananas are going to be measured. That's the classic, isn't it? That's nonsense.
Well. I have to say that Europe is a big problem. I'll tell you one thing: the people that run the European Union are called EU commissioners. There's 27 of them, one from each country, and they don't. They're not elected, and you only need to look at what's happening in Cyprus, where in the Eurozone they're taking the money off people like you and me, hard-earned money, not necessarily me yet, but there's nothing they can do to stop it.
Dan, listen, we have to end it there. I appreciate your time. Dan Dukes from Bedford made his debut speech, a performance poem, a rap, whatever you want to call it, at the UKIP party conference. 08459 455 555. Let's get the weather now with Georgina Burnett.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. Well, it's a frosty start to the bank holiday, and then we're left with a mainly dry but cloudy day. There should be the odd bright spell here and there, but also some isolated wintry showers, which should be quite light, though, where they do fall. What we'll all be feeling, though, is this brisk easterly breeze, which is likely to take the edge off the daytime highs. Temperatures expected to reach 4 or 5 degrees Celsius, so well below the average for this time of year. And tonight, any cloud should shift, leaving us with a fairly clear night. It will be cold, though, with temperatures dipping down well below freezing, so we're likely to have another hard frost developing. And tomorrow, a much brighter day, largely dry, just a little bit of a cloud around, but certainly plenty of sunshine. It will still be cool, though, and that wind will be strengthening with highs of 6 degrees Celsius. For the rest of the week, I think we can expect to be scraping our windscreen most mornings with some overnight frosts, just variable cloud really, and a few isolated wintry showers, which should still be quite light when they do fall, but also some bright sunny intervals. But really, the wind is going to be the main story for this week. It's easterly and it's likely to be quite bitter.
Sounds great. Thanks, Georgina.
Every weekday morning from 9.
The JVS Show.
With the biggest questions.
Today on the Big Phone-In, I'm asking, would you support some dog breeds being removed from this country? Should traffic wardens be more lenient? Would the government be right to drop the minimum price for alcohol?
And the biggest opinions.
I think the tax is completely unfair.
It doesn't matter how old they are or how young they are. They're still your children.
It doesn't matter whether it's male or female or what. I'm disgusted with the people that... You should have cut them people off.
The JVS Show.
Weekdays from 9.
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
I do need to ask you this. Chickens. If you own chickens... Hens and chickens are the same thing, aren't they? But, yeah. If you own them... What are they like? I was so close on Saturday. I was so close to buying 3 little chicks. I know. 08459 455 555. If you've got hens... Does it make sense to have them? I guess the main thing I'm worried about is the noise. Are they noisy? Are they going to upset my neighbours? And people keep talking to me about covenants. What?
Oh, her eyes make the stars look like they're not shining. Her hair falls perfectly without her trying. She's so beautiful, and I tell her every day. She won't believe me, and it's so sad to think that she don't see what I see. But every time she asks me, do I look okay? I say, when I see your face, there's not a thing that I would change, 'cause you're amazing, just the way you are. And when you smile, the whole world stops and stares for a while. 'Cause girl, you're amazing, just the way you are. Yeah. Her lips, I could kiss them all day if she'd let me. Her laugh, she hates, but I think it's so sexy. She's so beautiful, and I tell her every day. Oh, you know what you're searching for, then just stay the same. So don't even bother asking if you look okay. You know I'll say when I see your face, there's not a thing that I would change, 'cause you're amazing, just the way you are. And when you smile, the whole world stops and stares for a while, 'cause girl, you're amazing, just the way you are. The way you are. The way you are. Girl, you're amazing, just the way you are.
I need someone to review the papers with me. If you fancy the job, give us a call now, please. 08459 455 555.
'Cause you're amazing, just the way you are.
I don't think I can face doing it on my own.
And when you smile, the whole world stops and stares for a while. 'Cause girl, you're amazing, just the way you are.
He's tiny, Bruno Mars. I don't trust tiny men. I don't. Men under 5 foot, I'm going to say it, men under 5'7", there's just something about you that I don't hate you. Please don't think, this is in no way sizist. I'm not sending out hate. This is, for goodness sake, it's Easter Monday. We're sending out the love. He rose again. But I'm not sending out hate. Just men under 5'7". What's Bruno Mars? He's no taller than 5'2". You could fit the team are researching. How tall is Bruno Mars, producer Laura?
I don't know. I can have a look for you.
Have a guess. I'd say 5'2".
No.
1 he's how tall is he? Sorry, 1.65 metres.
Yeah, so that's around 5. I'm 1.67,
now we're
which
trying to
is
convert
5'6".
He's
just 5'6".
Now hang on a second. Google the metres conversion. I'm not going to go by your conversion, producer Laura.
I am 1.67 m, which is 5'6". I'm convinced. So it's got to be 5'5", 5'6".
5'5".
Good maths brain.
All right, we're gonna find this out using a computer brain and work this out, because I don't. 5. Now, is it 5.4 or 5'4" inches? It gets too confusing. I can see why we made the move. I don't know how tall I am in metric. I've got no idea. Like 2 metres? Am I 2 metres?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'll do.
Thank you very much. I just don't trust them. Anyway, listen. No, not the producers. I don't trust them either. But tiny men. I don't trust anybody. I thought your microphone was down. Look, you're still giggling away. Let's get rid of you now. If you want to come and review the front page of the newspapers with me, don't worry. I've got them. They're here. Give us a call, 08459 455 555. I don't think I can face doing it on my own, so give us a call, 08459 455 555. But it's all about the hens. I took my young lads, 3 and 1, to it. The farm is a strong word. It was kind of a farm shop that had a few hens and a couple of goats and apparently some pigs, although I didn't see any pigs. And we were there and we were chatting and he had some chicks and I noticed that the chicks were for sale and I kind of got talking to this guy, Sean, and I said, well, just, you know, how much are chicks? How much does it cost? What's the deal? And he was, you know, you pay a few quid for the chicks and then when they're young, you get a light box, which he's got, which was £38, plastic box with a heat light bulb in and some holes, and then after a couple of weeks they can come out of that into a bigger cardboard box, and after another few weeks you put them into a coop, and the coop's 150 quid. And I was thinking, that would be amazing, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be fantastic for my boys, 3 and 1? We'd have it out in the garden, obviously. What's this? Why does this phone keep making this beeping noise? Look, what's going on here with that? I don't quite know what's going on. So we'd have these chicks out in the garden every morning. We could go out, root around and get fresh eggs for breakfast. How amazing would that be for 2 young lads to do that? And then someone said, well, what about when the hens die? How would you explain that to the boys? It's the circle of life. They've got to learn about death sometime. I'd rather it be they learnt about a chicken dying than their nana. You know, it would just... It's the circle of life. And so I'm seriously considering, I managed to walk away because I was getting slightly dirty looks from my wife. I managed to walk away without buying hens. But now I'm thinking, I'm going to do it. I'm actually going to do it. 08459 455 555. Have you got hens? Have you ever had hens? Would you? And more importantly, the thing that really worries me, okay, is the neighbours, is the noise. I would hate to, get a knock on my door one night saying, your chickens really are disturbing me. So if you live next door to someone who's got hens, 08459 455 555. Have they disturbed you? Are they annoying? Is it worth the hassle? I've been told they stink. What you clean them, once a week? And also, here's the thing. My father-in-law told me off. He said, don't you dare get hens. Which kind of makes me think, I'm probably going to get hens even more. What do I do when I go away on holiday? Can you just, leave them for a couple of weeks on their own and they look after themselves? Is that how it works? Well, earlier on this morning, we sent our reporter, Lorna Hankin, out to find out what's going on. Lorna, you're out and about now, aren't you? Whereabouts are you?
I'm at Todderton Services this morning.
OK.
Quite busy. There's a few people coming through here today.
Excellent stuff. And you've never owned chickens, have you, Lorna?
I haven't, no. I've owned a cat before. That's about it.
Well, the thing is, I've got a cat, but I think she'd be scared of the chickens. I don't think there'd be any worries there. So we sent you on the fool's errand of going to Toddington Services and asking all these burly truckers and these people that are around about chickens. What kind of reaction did you get?
Mostly that people like chickens, but more of the fried variety, not actually as a pet.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, but I did actually meet a few people who've had chickens, but they're not convinced about having them again, and a few other people who just weren't so sure.
Let's have a listen to what they said.
4 chickens, which I used to keep in the back garden, which was about 5 years ago.
Yeah, and what made you have them?
Just because I like the fresh eggs, really. That's about it.
And you're not from the 3 counties, are you? Where are you from?
I'm from Folkestone, Kent.
And so you're travelling through here today for bank holiday. Would you ever have them now?
I would, but living in a flat's not practical.
That's very true.
No, I wouldn't fancy having chickens. I'm sorry.
Why wouldn't it appeal to you?
I don't really know. I'm probably because I'm basically lazy, to be honest. We used to have rabbits. I used to enjoy them. They were lovely little pets, but not chickens, I'm afraid, no.
I grew up in Jamaica, so we had chickens. But
oh, did you?
It's not something I would do here.
Oh, so why did you have them in Jamaica?
It's just normal, really.
Yeah.
Grew up in rural Jamaica, so everybody had them, so it was a normal thing, but we didn't have them for pets.
No.
We had them for eating.
So did you name them or get attached to them at all?
Nah, you just knew you had about 20 of them, and then when the time came...
Oh, no, listen, first of all, my chicks are going to have names, Lorna.
Well, that's what I thought.
And my girls aren't going to be deep-fried and eaten. There'll be none of that. They'll be loved.
So yours are for egg purposes and as a pet, really?
Well, they're for eggs, they're kind of as a pet, and they're to show the boys, where their food comes from.
Well, that's true. I think what I found this morning, it really depends on where you live. If you've got a nice garden, then it's okay. Flat, not ideal.
Lorna, thank you very much indeed. Luckily, I do have a semblance of a garden, so I think I can get away with it. Well, what do you think, dear listener? We'll discuss this more after the travel with David Rees.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks travel.
BBC 3 Counties Radio.
Well, it's looking pretty quiet at the moment. As far as I'm aware, I've not heard of any accidents or major incidents to report. The M25 both directions, there's speed limit 50 miles an hour due to the roadworks at South Mimms Junction 23. And at Westcott, the A41 restricted. Temporary lights are up at Creighton Road at the moment. On the trains, trains are running, but there are some disruptions because of engineering works. Chiltern Railway suspended Marylebone to Amersham because of the works. First Capital Connect, no service from Moorgate to Finsbury Park because of the works there. And also for Virgin Trains, replacement bus Birmingham New Street to Wolverhampton if you're heading further out. Works on the line there too. David Rees, BBC 3 Counties Radio.
David, thank you very much indeed. 08459 455 555. Ever owned chickens? And could someone call in? I need a little bit of help with the paper. Looking at the front pages of the papers this morning. It's you may have noticed it's kind of a slightly shambolic show, but we'll stumble through it. Coming up in the next hour, more on the changes to the benefit system which are implemented today. 08459 455 555. Here's the news with Ewan Duncan.
Getting beds, hearts and bucks talking.
This is BBC 3 Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm Ewan Duncan. The headlines. Government says bedroom tax will save more than £5 million. Ant and Dec make it to number one in the charts. And Britain's Andy Murray is the Miami master.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Nearly 19,000 people in Beds, Herts and Bucks are due to be affected by changes to housing benefit, which are being introduced today. Jessica Cooper reports.
The spare room subsidy, or bedroom tax as it's become known, will affect families who are deemed to have too much living space. They'll be assessed for the number of bedrooms they actually need and could see their benefits cut. The government says the savings to the taxpayer this year will amount to more than £5 million.
The South African government says there's been a further improvement in the condition of Nelson Mandela. The 94-year-old former president, who's suffering from pneumonia, has spent a fifth night in hospital. Changes in legal aid have come into force in England and Wales today. According to some estimates, the number of people who qualify for help with legal bills for civil cases will fall by 3/4. Clive Coleman has more. I'm afraid we're unable to bring you that at the moment. The appointment of the Italian footballer Paolo Di Canio as manager of Sunderland has led David Miliband to resign as a director of the club. Di Canio has spoken in the past of his support for fascist political views. He takes over following the sacking of Martin O'Neill, with the Black Cats 1 point above the Premier League relegation zone in 16th place. The TV hosts Ant and Dec are celebrating their first number one single 17 years after their chart career as Biker Grove characters PJ and Duncan came to an end. They prompted a download dash for their 1994 hit Let's Get Ready to Rumble after performing the track on their Saturday night takeaway show last weekend. In sport, Andy Murray's moved to number 2 in the world tennis rankings after winning the Miami Masters. Murray came from a set down to beat Spain's David Ferrer in 3 sets, saving a match point in the process. Murray will now move above Roger Federer in the rankings when they're published this morning. And the weather, it'll be mainly dry today, but cloudy with some bright or sunny spells. It'll continue to feel cold as the maximum temperature reaches 5 degrees Celsius. There's more news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties. BBC Three Counties Radio, first for news.
This is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. I stole my 1-year-old son's chocolate eggs this weekend. My reasoning behind it was, he's only 1, he won't remember this. So I kind of just kept going into the fridge and eating his eggs. He's a child, he's 1 year old. He's not going to remember, oh man, my first Easter and my daddy stole all my eggs. He's 1. The 3-year-old got some of his. What more do you want, for goodness sake? They can't count. They won't know if there's 3 or 4. Lots coming up in the next hour of the show, including Happy New Benefits Day. Changes are being implemented today. In the way the benefit system works, we'll be talking about that. 08459 455 555. And to celebrate Elstrie's illustrious history, it's 100 years old. Well, there's a film being made about the filmmaking place. Lots of ways to get in touch this morning. Facebook.com/BBC 3CR. Send me a text, 81333. Start your text 3CR. You can also give us a call. I'm looking for someone to look at the front pages of the newspaper with me this morning. And also hens. I'm so close to getting them. Covenants? Should I be worried about covenants? Don't really know what that means. And if you live near them, are they a nightmare? I don't want to disturb my new neighbours. We've only just moved. I'd hate them to hate me. 08459 455 555. Have you got hens? Are they worth it?
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's the Beatles.
She gets it while she can. Oh, get back to where you once belonged. Get back to where you once belonged. Get back to red on.
Bit of the Beatles on a bank holiday. You can't go wrong, really. You can't go wrong. Unless you're one of those deviants that doesn't like the Beatles. I know there are some people out there that don't like the Beatles. What's that all about? It's worth waiting for Ringo's little fill there. Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. It's the 1st of April, which means the government's long-awaited welfare changes come into effect today. One of the biggest issues has arisen from the spare room subsidy, or the so-called bedroom tax. Just under 19,000 people in beds, Herts and Bucks are due to be affected. The government says it'll make the system fairer and reduce the billions spent on housing benefit. Well, Labour councillor Tom Shaw is the housing portfolio holder for Luton Borough Council. Morning, Tom. Thank you for coming in.
Morning.
Nice to meet you at last. We've spoken a few times. What are your concerns about changes to the housing benefit?
The bedroom tax, there's 1,100 people in Luton what will be affected from this morning. At the same time, they've taken away the legal aid, what people will be able to get to for appealing against the bedroom tax. But my biggest concern is, no matter how we add the figures up in Luton, we will get £600,000 to give out in discretionary payments. If we gave everyone part discretionary, it's still going to come to something like £1.2 million. So what the government's allowed us doesn't cover anywhere near the amount of need there is in Luton.
Now, I have to flag up the term bedroom tax because the BBC have been criticised for using it, and the government, the coalition, would say it's not a tax; it's a reduction in benefits.
It's a tax. It's a tax. If you're sat, I had a case of my surgery on Saturday morning. Very, very disabled young man in a 2-bedroom bungalow who needs a second room to keep all his gear in. For his physio and everything else, and he is very seriously disabled, and he will now be charged for that room. This morning you got 13,000 millionaires, what, £100,000 a year better off. If it's not a tax, what is it?
But won't that disabled chap be exempt from the subsidy cut?
Yeah, there's another 400 like him in Luton. And say we've got £600,000 for the exemption, discretionary payments it's called. If we did all the people in the town with a care plan, then we wouldn't be able to do anyone else. And at the moment, without the bedroom tax, we pay out £200,000 a year in discretionary payments anyway.
So how are you going to decide? You've got this £600,000 pot that you say is only half of what you need. How are you going to decide who gets the discretionary help and who doesn't?
That's going to be the hardest decision a lot of councillors are going to have to make. We've set up an appeals panel. The appeals First of all, you'll apply to officers. If you're not satisfied with what the officers say, then you'll be able to go to an appeals panel in Luton. I think we're one of the few councils in this area what's done that. And my own belief is, and I'm sorry I have to say this, the government's got its figures wrong, so the rest of Luton will have to pick up discretionary, because my view is we should be topping up the discretionary element.
So how have the government got the figures wrong with this discretionary pot?
With the discretionary pot, and also it's a stupid system where, just say you're living in a 3-bedroom house, you're in your 50s, you've just been made unemployed, you can't afford to pay for the spare bedrooms. 6 months' time down the line, you get evicted. And it could happen. I doubt if we'll do that in Luton, but it could happen. You know, it's very feasible for that to happen. You get evicted, you get picked up and you go into private sector accommodation. The figures you've read out this morning about 5 million saving are rubbish, because what will happen is you'll be put into a lot dearer accommodation in the private sector.
That the council will be paying for?
Yeah, the council will be paying for. So right. You lose out always, and besides that, you've gone through all the stress of being evicted from your home and everything else and be put into a completely unsuitable accommodation.
What about one of the reasons that the government has said they're doing this, and it's to make better use of social housing? Because there are families with 2, 3, 4 kids that are living in cramped conditions. Won't this free up bigger properties for those families?
Right. last Friday, 3 o'clock Friday afternoon, we had 220 people on the list that wanted to downsize. I got the figures for you. We had exactly 5 empty one-bedroom properties. So, without anyone else coming on the list, we're talking about 4 years just to help them people without building new houses. The government could have solved some of this 18 months ago by giving the councils money to actually build one-bedroom properties, knowing it was coming, but they chose to give that money to the private sector instead.
Is there no way... I can't remember who we were speaking to last week, but they were suggesting that there's kind of a trade-off, that people, 1 or 2 people living in places where they need to downsize could swap with bigger families. Is that possible?
Do it. We already do that. We actually pay people in Luton to come from larger properties down to smaller properties. As I say, but they're just the people on the list wanting that exchange, and we had... Last Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock, that's before the bedroom tax started, we had 220 who wanted to move down to downsize. We had 600 what wanted to move up, but we only had 5 empty properties for them to do it, 5 one-bedders for them to do it in.
The government argues the changes... I'm going to read some numbers here. The changes will help cut the $23 billion annual bill for housing benefit, free up more living space, and encourage people to get jobs. That's got to be a good thing, isn't it?
In the real world, nothing's going to happen like that. What you're going to get, first of all, you haven't got the properties to downsize to. Secondly, when people are evicted, and some councils in the country will evict because of the bedroom tax. You know, Brighton's the first to come out in the country and say we will not do any evictions because of bedroom tax arrears. But some councils will. Those people get evicted, they get picked up and go in the private sector. It actually puts the housing benefit bill up, doesn't put it down. And, you know, I'm getting a bit fed up with people turning around and saying all these new jobs. There's 800,000 people being taken off disability living allowance, but the jobless figures haven't gone up. Where's them 800,000 people gone? You know, none of it makes sense. The figures don't make sense. It's very, very foolish the way they've done it. It's just short-term thinking, and what a lot of it is to actually get a few headlines in the paper. But a lot of people are going to suffer because of it. Why have pensioners been left exempt from this? Well, a lot of pensioners are already in shelter schemes and everything else. I mean, in Luton, we've got 1,800 people, 1,800 pensioners living in our 22 shelter blocks. I believe it's right that pensioners are exempt because they're not of working age. Well, we've heard stories this week of some old boy that lives in a 4-bedroom house on his own, an elderly couple that live in a 3-bedroom house. It does seem slightly unfair that they've been excluded. Is it because they're more likely to be Conservative voters and that they're pandering to them? No, I don't think. Even I wouldn't think the Tories are that vicious. No, I think it's only sensible pensioners are left out because of who they are. They're not of working age. But if it had helped put people into jobs, I'd be as pleased as anything. But it won't help one person get a job, none of this. All it'll do is cause more misery. Why are they doing this then? Why is the government doing this? Direct attack on housing. They don't like social housing, never liked social housing. They'd love people to be in the private sector. They've put the rents up. They're trying to force the rents up in social housing. In Luton, we're not going to do it. And a lot of other councils are saying, enough's enough. Back off. But we do have to save money somewhere, don't we? And it could be argued that there are these people that possibly exploit the benefits system. I'm not saying everyone does at all. Listen, the benefits system helped me out years ago when I was having a bit of a rough ride. But there are some people that do exploit the system, and we need to save money somehow. Oh, there's 1,001 ways to save money. I mean, one of the biggest way to save money with housing benefits would put a rent restriction on in the private sector. I mean, you can... Unlimited rents, you can have £750, £800 a month for a grotty 2-bedroom flat. Well, put some decent rent controls in, like they've got in America and places like that, in Germany. Put some decent rent controls in, you save a fortune on your housing benefit bill. Have you had a lot of people come up to you saying they're worried about this? It's massive in Luton. Say this Saturday at my surgery, I had 3 people, and every other councillor, they've all of a sudden, I don't think people thought it was going to happen, and all of a sudden they started appearing at every councillor's surgery. And what are you saying to these people when they come up to you in your local surgery? Well, we're advising them. There's a full list of advice we can give them. We're making appointments to meet the officers. We're also telling them about the discretionary payments, what can be made. But there's not a lot more we can say about them. You know, there's not a lot more we can say to them, but our big target now in Luton's got to be the people what have got an actual care plan to make sure that they're all right. But that will take up most of the discretionary payment then.
OK, Labour Councillor Tom Shaw, housing portfolio holder for Luton Borough Council. Thank you very much indeed for coming in. 08459 455 555. You heard what Tom has to say. Do you agree with him that these are worrying times? Or do you think, hang on a second, though, this is a good idea? This is a really good idea. 08459 455 555. Chickens. Do I get chickens? I'm so close at the weekend. My little boy was holding a little chick. Very gentle. He kind of freezes when he gets to hold small animals like that. And I said to my son, if some chickens came and lived with us, would you like that? No. Oh, why? They peck. I said, well, supposing they didn't peck. Oh, yeah, that'd be good. So we're so close to getting chickens. Are they more hassle than they're worth? Do they make noise? This is my worry. I know if you get a cockerel, you're out. That's it. But chickens, do they make noise? Dimpner's in Biggleswade. Good morning, Dimpner.
Good morning, Ian. How are you?
Do you know what? I'm all right today.
Good.
I'm all right today. Chickens. Have you ever owned chickens?
I haven't personally, but my parents grew up on a farm, and they actually used to follow my grandmother all around, and I actually live next door to somebody who has actually got quite a few chickens and a few ducks as well. And I'll tell you what, Ian, they do not make a sound.
Do they?
Only yesterday I think I heard them clucking a bit, but other than that, I've been here 5-6 weeks, and that's the only time I've heard them.
I think that sometimes they make a noise when they pass an egg, as you would do, wouldn't you? If an egg came through your bottom, you would squawk, wouldn't you, Dimpner?
To be honest with you, Ian, like as I said, I haven't heard them, so I would tell you, get them.
Get them. I'm tempted. How many chickens has your neighbour got?
She's got quite a few, and some of them are quite big, which I must admit I've never seen before.
Yeah, big giant chickens.
But she's got quite a few of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Does she bring a little basket round every week or so with some eggs? So here's some eggs, Dimpner.
Well, she hasn't to me yet, but if I needed eggs, all I have to do is knock on her door, and she'd give them to me, no bother.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. So that's a thumbs up from you. I should get the eggs. I get the chickens.
Thumbs up from me, and go ahead and get them, darling. And it's a good way to teach your children as well.
Dimna, you've just reminded me of something there. I've noticed that as I get older, I sometimes refer to some women as love. I say, oh, thanks, love. And I say it when I don't remember people's names. I forget people's names quite easily. So, oh, thanks, love. And I say it to slightly more mature ladies.
Yep.
Would you just called me darling, and I thought that was very charming. Would you be offended if I called you love?
No, it's just a term of endearment. I mean, even me, myself, I forget people's names, like, you know what I mean? Yep. So I think it's an easy get-out.
Yeah, I forget names a lot. I'm just worried, though, that some people might think it's a little bit patronising. Hang on a second. My producer, Laura, you're a woman, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yes. If I called you love, you're a young woman. Would you find love offensive?
Youngish. No, I don't find it offensive, but it makes me think that you are ageing.
Right. Oh, dear. Thank
that's
you.
A bit blood about Laura.
Yeah, because my mum also does it, and she's only started doing it in recent years, and I've picked her up on it, and I've said, do you realise that in the supermarket or when somebody comes to the door, you refer to them as love? And I think she's getting it from her mum and dad, and I said, I think you're ageing. I think it's her.
Hang on a minute. I'm not. How old's your mum? I'm not as old as your mum.
She's early 60s.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm late 30s. For goodness sakes.
Almost 40.
Right, she's gone. How rude, Dimpler.
I think so. I think that was a bit naughty, Laura, but...
Yeah, it's a bit naughty, Laura.
Exactly.
Dimpner, thank you very much indeed. So, Dimpner, it's a thumbs up for the hems for Dimpner. 08459 455 555. If you're a lady... Do you find being called love a little bit patronising? I quite like it. I've always, in the past, thought, oh dear. Maybe it's since my dad passed, because my dad used to call people love a lot, and maybe I've kind of adopted that slightly. I don't know. I do find myself saying it. Do you get offended by it? Gentlemen, if you call a woman love, have you ever got a metaphorical slap in the chops? 08459 455 555.
Nick Coffer on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Every weekday between 12 and 3, I'm here with a little bit of celebrity.
I've always loved being a comedian because it's my job, so I'm going to keep doing that.
I was voted Japan's #1 male vocalist of the year, and I beat out Frank Sinatra. How's that?
Expert advice.
It does sound like it's a mechanical pain brought on by altered mechanics in your upper limb.
Your capital's protected, because I'm guessing what you don't want to do is take any risks with the capital itself.
And loads of really great music.
Nick Coffer, weekdays from 12 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Who enjoyed the sun yesterday morning? There was sun out. I mean, it's cold. Let's not be stupid, but it was sunny. That felt nice. 08459 455 555. Chickens. And do you get upset if you get called love?
The taxman's taken all my dough and left me in my stately home, blazing on a sunny afternoon. And I can't sail my yacht, he's taken everything I got. All I've got's this sunny afternoon. Save me, save me, save me from this squeeze. I got a big fat mama trying to break me, and I love to live so pleasant tea. Now I'm sitting here, sipping at my ice cool beer, blazing on the sunny afternoon. Help me, help me, help me sail away. Well, give me 2 good reasons why I ought to stay. 'Cause I love to live so pleasantly, live this life of luxury, blazing on a sunny afternoon in the summertime, in the summertime, in the summertime. Oh, save me, save me, save me from this squeeze. I got a big fat mama trying to break me, and I love to live so pleasantly, live this life of luxury, blazing on a sunny afternoon in the summertime, in the summertime, in the summertime, in the summertime.
On the subject of hens, BBC Three Counties Radio, the first for news, by the way. David in Luton says, we've got 3 hens. They don't make much noise. Woodside Animal Farm Board hens for your holiday. Woodside Animal Farm Boards for your holiday. A nice lady next door looks after us. What is that? Is he saying put wooden slats in, or there's a place where you can
No.
take hens away?
No, you were asking what do you do with chickens if you go on
Yeah.
holiday,
Yeah.
and then they board the chickens, so they would keep them.
Right.
That's what you're saying.
Oh, what, you take them to like a hen hotel?
Yeah.
That's brilliant! But then how do you know you're getting your hens back? Because let's be honest, they all look the same.
No, you can tell them apart, can't you?
I can tell the brown ones and the black ones apart, but that's it. The rest, they're just hens.
But they become like pets, and then you'd know what they look.
I'd cut a toe off.
Oh, Ian.
Well, then I'd know it was mine.
Too far.
Okay, too far. Phil says, "Why not rescue ex-battery hens?" Well, I want. Yes, I want my boys to see hens growing. I want them to see them growing. That's partly why we're going to go for chicks, and also chicks are so cute. 08459 455 555. Right, let's get the travel now. David Rees.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks travel.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's looking pretty good on the roads at the moment. Not heard of any accidents or incidents on the roads right now. Everything seems to be moving fine. It's bank holiday morning. M25, both directions. There is a speed limit of 50 miles an hour in the narrow lanes around junction 23 at the A1M towards 25 at Enfield, and for the A10. Also for the A41 in Westcott, some restrictions and temporary lights are up at Creighton Road at the moment. On the trains, and there is engineering works causing problems this morning. Chiltern Railway suspended Marylebone to Amersham due to the engineering works. First Capital Connect into London, Moorgate to Finsbury Park. There's no service there at the moment because of engineering works as well. David Rees, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, David. It's 7:30, time for the news and sport. Here's Ewan Duncan.
Getting beds, hearts and bugs talking.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. Nearly 19,000 people in Beds, Hearts and Bucks are due to be affected by changes to housing benefit which are being introduced today. The spare room subsidy, or bedroom tax as it's become known, will affect families who are deemed to have too much living space. Access to legal aid in England and Wales has been restricted. Help will no longer be available for many family cases when couples are divorcing, or for advice on benefits, employment and some other problems. 1 in 5 home buyers who don't have a proper survey done are said to end up with expensive faults to sort out in their new homes. New research says the repairs often cost many thousands of pounds. And the history of Elstree Studios is being made into a film to mark its centenary. People who work there, including actors such as Sir Roger Moore, are being interviewed to form an archive of its past.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks Sport.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
We start with football. MK Dons host Brentford in League One today. The Dons are 9 points off the playoffs with games in hand. Manager Carl Robinson says there's still hope.
All you can do is worry about yourselves. If we can put a performance in against a very good Brentford side on Monday and get the victory, it will put us right in the mix. And that's the challenge that's being set for the rest of the players.
Graham Westley takes charge of his first match today since his return to Stevenage. It's his third spell with the club. His side play Hartlepool, and Westley's hopeful for more success.
I guess the club, wants to progress, and I want somewhere, again where I can progress further. So, ambition, I suppose, is the link that keeps myself and Stevenage together.
Wycombe are in the northwest to face Morecambe in League 2 today. The Chairboys are still looking for one more win to avoid getting involved in the relegation struggle. Luton Town entertained the conference leaders Kidderminster Harriers at Kenilworth Road. The Hatters drew 2-2 at Cambridge on Saturday. Despite rotating his team in recent weeks, Luton boss John Still says he won't make many changes to his side for today's game.
Would I tinker? Not too much, no, because I have to respect the other teams, that are up there fighting for that number one spot. So we need to be reasonably competitive in our selection.
Also today, Chelsea host Manchester United in their FA Cup quarter-final replay, with the winners facing Manchester City at Wembley in the semi-finals. Elsewhere, Paolo Di Canio signed a 2.5-year contract to become the new manager of Sunderland. He takes over following the sacking of Martin O'Neill, with the Premier League side only 1 point above the relegation zone in 16th place. In the Premier League yesterday, Aston Villa remain in the bottom three after losing 2-1 at home to Liverpool. In Rugby's Championship yesterday, Bedford won by 26 points to 18 away to the Cornish Pirates. The Blues remain third in the table. In tennis, Andy Murray's moved to number 2 in the world rankings after winning the Miami Masters. Murray came from a set down to beat Spain's David Ferrer in 3 sets. He'll now move above Roger Federer in the rankings when they're published this morning. Oxford led from start to finish to beat Cambridge in the 159th boat race yesterday. And finally, you can follow all today's action on Three Counties Sport from 2. BBC Three Counties News and Sport first for news.
Call 08459 455 555.
08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Morning. This is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. It's a bank holiday. Being the sucker I am, I didn't bother taking the day off. Everyone else did, and me, I just turn up. Anyway, it's a slightly more laid-back show than normal. If you want to give us a call, 08459 455 555. Coming up in the next half hour, we've got some chickens. Is it patronising if I call you love? Oh, Barry from Watford. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. I'm off for a wee.
I forget someone had to pay for this with love, and you'd expect that someone had to give themselves away. So forget the lies, yeah, I told them out of spite. And despite everything, I guess you're right. And if I had a heart, I would have let you go. And if I had a heart, well, I wonder would I know that we're still miles away, still running high. If I had a heart was good to you, what good would that do now? And so we let things fall to the ground we held so dear, and you can hold it all together just to give it all away. So forget the lies, yeah, I told them out of spite. And despite do now?
Andy Burrows, If I Had a Heart. Good morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. A slightly more laid-back show on a bank holiday Monday.
Would that do now?
Chickens. I'm seriously considering getting chickens. Should I bother? Is it patronising if I call you love? And other nonsense we're discussing this morning as well. 08459 455 555. Here's someone I've not heard from for a long time, and with good reason. It's Barry from Watford.
Hello, Ian.
Hello, Barry. How are you?
Not so dusty. How are you?
Does that mean a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, it means that I got up quite early to speak to you, so that's a bad thing. But now
For many people, it's a bad thing. Yes.
Still speaking.
Sorry.
But now that I am speaking
Yes.
to you, it's not too bad.
Yes. Steady. Are you? Are you in the same room as your telephone?
Why?
Well, it's very poor quality.
Oh, we've had this problem before when I've spoken to you. Well, the poor quality being the phone, mostly.
The phone. Barry,
Shall I phone you on another phone?
No, you're not going to be on for long, so don't worry. What have you called in for, Barry?
Well, first of all, I'd like to apologise because you were talking about calling people love, is it?
Yes.
And darling and this sort of thing.
Yes.
When I got through on the switchboard, ironically, I called the lady who answered a name, an ironic name, because I was being ironic, because you just said don't call people...
Yeah. Yes.
I'd like to apologise. Is it Laura or...
What did you call Laura?
I called... Well, I don't know whether...
Laura, what did he say to you? Was he rude?
No, it was sweet cheeks. I'm sorry, I don't know anything about her cheeks. I don't know if they're sweet or what, but...
Or sour.
Or sour. I was being funny and...
I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
I'd like to apologise. It was a sort of a joke.
Probably a step too far, though, to be honest, Barry. With everything that's going on in the press at the moment, probably a little bit inappropriate.
Well, I know nothing about your cheeks, and they may be perfectly sweet or otherwise, and I'd like to apologise. There'll be no more cheek talk, certainly.
Okay. Laura, are you happy? All right, Barry, shut up. Are you happy to move on with this, Laura, or...?
Yeah, just the apologies kind of accepted.
Okay, if we could get that in writing as well.
Sorry
Barry, written on the back of a £10 note, that would be lovely. But your people, your old people, you all...
people? What do you mean, my people?
The elderly, you...
Oh, yes.
You all call each other love, darling, mate, and stuff like that. And I'm guessing that's from the war, is it?
Well, yes, and also because, like the previous caller, I can't always remember people's names.
That's why I do it.
I mean, I couldn't remember her name, that lady I've apologised to just now, the cheek lady. But, no, I mean, I don't mind it. I think it's familiar, it's friendly, I don't mind that. Babes, I don't mind, it's a bit common.
No.
Babes, do you want a cup of tea, babes? I go, and I go as Mr. St. Michael to you.
Can I call you Gramps? Gramps?
I hate that. I hate it. I won't have that.
Grampy?
No.
Grandad?
Not so keen on that.
Old geezer?
Don't like it.
Oldie Woldy?
Oldie Woldy?
Coffin dodger?
Well, I've never heard that.
I've literally just... Barry, I'm thinking of getting chickens.
Oh, yes.
Because I think it'll be nice for the boys to see where their food comes from, where the eggs come from. I'm talking now. I'm not finished. Yes. I'm setting it up for those who are just tuning in.
Steady.
Yes. So I think it'd be nice to get some chickens, and every morning we go out, we get a fresh egg, we have it for our breakfast.
Me now?
I finished talking now, yes.
You finished talking now. Yeah, right. I would like to say one word to you.
Don't say the word I think you're going to say. Don't say that word.
Saying that word. You've already dealt with that one.
Okay, good.
They're up early in the morning, and you certainly don't want that. It's foxes. Foxes.
I don't know why I'm laughing at the potential of an animal being mauled to death. But if they're if I put them in a coop, they'll be okay, won't they?
Well, the fox, the urban fox, is a wily character.
Yes.
He can find his way. It's like a KFC to that thing. It can come in minus the coleslaw and the corn on the cob. He can get in any other day or night. He's a wily character. And I don't want to see the look on your son's face when he gets up in the morning and there's what looks like the remains of a bargain bucket all over the garden, you know.
That is the thing. I'd have to come down early every morning and check that and clean up any mess
And
that may have...
What do you do if it is there? You know,
well, we do what we did
prop
with...
its head up and behind a brick or something and pretend it's...
do that. We do the same that we did with the fish. The fish died recently and the fish has gone on holiday. So the hens will go on holiday.
Ah, well, I suppose so, but it's a very cruel thing if that does happen, and it will happen, Ian. I think you know that.
Is that
particularly where you live, near those bins, they're all around there.
Listen, Barry, we've got a couple of minutes before I have to go to the... Well, we've got about a minute before we go to the weather. Would you go through the front pages of some of the newspapers with me?
Yeah, go on then, away you go.
OK, we've got the Daily Express.
Oh, my favourite, yes. I like a proper read, you know. The Informed paper, yes.
There's a picture of two children sat all wrapped up nice and warm on a beach.
Yes.
Minus 12 degrees. Summertime starts with our coldest Easter.
You went round in 1962. This is balmy compared to that. Next.
The Daily Mail.
My favourite.
There's a picture
Too left wing for me, the Daily Mail.
There's a picture on the front page of a very shapely bottom. Is
it your producer?
Don't go there. There's it's a lady in a very tight blue two-piece suit, very shapely bottom, and the headline is "Who's the very shapely royal doing a pipper?" So basically, they're saying, "Look at this posh bottom."
It's someone with a nice bottom in the royal family. Is it the Queen?
It's not the Queen.
Are we still on air?
Just. You lost me the last two jobs. Don't lose me this one.
Sorry.
Have another guess. It's not the Queen.
Is it Pippa's sister, the delightful Kate?
No, it's not. One more guess.
Is it one of those funny ones who wore the pretzel on her head at the wedding?
It's not. It's Sophie, the Countess of Wessex.
Oh, lovely.
And
is that? Will I get the head chopped off for saying that?
Yes.
I didn't mean lovely, a respectful lovely, Sophie.
And finally, before we go to the weather, the Sun, village...
Yes.
See if you can guess what this headline refers to. Village People's Princess.
I know what it is. It's something to do with Princess Diana. She went to a gay club with Freddie Mercury. 3 out of 3. A sigh of relief as the weather approaches and the traffic, and we can finally get rid of Barry. He's killed 10 minutes of the show. Not long now, folks. Till it can't... Hello? Oh, bye-bye. Few more seconds to kill before is it the traffic or the weather? It's bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye, then.
It's the weather with Georgina Burnett.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Well, how do I follow that? What a frosty start to the bank holiday Monday for most of us. But we should be left with a mainly dry but cloudy day with some bright spells here and there. There'll also be a few isolated wintry showers. I say isolated because some parts won't see any at all, and when they do fall, they should be quite light. But we'll all be feeling this rather brisk easterly breeze, which is likely to take the edge off the daytime highs. Temperatures expected to reach about 5 or 6 degrees Celsius. Tonight, any clouds should have shifted, leaving us with a fair fairly clear night. It will be cold though, with temperatures dipping down to well below freezing, -2 degrees. And a hard frost is going to develop again. Tomorrow we should have a brighter day though, largely dry, just a spot of cloud around, but plenty of bright spells. It will be cold though, and that wind will strengthen, with temperatures reaching 6 degrees. And for this week we can expect to be scraping the windscreens most mornings as overnight frosts are likely to occur. There will be some isolated wintry showers, which again should be quite light though, and bright and sunny intervals, but that wind will be the theme for this week, so a cold and windy week ahead, I'm afraid.
Thank you very much, Georgina.
The sporting treats continue this afternoon on Three Counties Sport. We've 4 live games for you, including commentary from Stadium MK as the Dons entertain Brentford.
Swings the ball in, header, that's in! It's a goal for the Dons, is it Bamford? Yes!
Stevenage at home to Hartlepool.
He buries that in the bottom right-hand corner from the edge of the box.
Wickham away to Morecambe.
Out now to Wood first time shot, right into the bottom corner.
And Luton host Kidderminster.
In it comes towards McNulty with a header, and the skipper scores!
Three Counties Sport, this afternoon from 2 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Morning, Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. 08459 455 555. Chickens, bedroom tax, and is it alright if I call you love? Thanks. haven't noticed the Penny Lane style trumpet at the end of this before. Where did that come from? Every song sounds better with a Penny Lane style trumpet at the end. It does. It does. It's a wonderful sound. This is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. A slightly more relaxed show than you'd normally expect. Back to normal tomorrow. It's a bank holiday, so there's literally no news. We will go through the front pages of the papers later on. You heard Barry from Watford there talking about this story. Village People's Princess Di posed as man in gay bar with Freddie. Princess Diana dressed as a man and was smuggled into a gay bar by Queen star Freddie Mercury and comic Kenny Everett. It emerged yesterday. Fun-loving Di was decked out in camp gear, like the Village People. TV's busty Cleo Rockus, who went with the People's Princess, said Di looked like a male model and added, she loved it. It's a great story. Well, we'll be looking at the front pages a little bit later on, but the important thrust of today's show is... I do sometimes use this show as my own personal Google or Bing, if you use... No one uses that, no one uses it. It didn't catch on as much as Microsoft hoped it would. Sorry, guys. I'm thinking of getting chickens. And I want to know, is it a good idea or a bad idea? Well, we've sent our reporter, Lorna Hankin, who was... Lorna, I suspect you were hoping you get a slightly better story than this to deal with. I can only apologise.
Well, Chicken Watch is going quite well so far, I'd say. I've actually met more people who have had chickens than I thought they would.
It's a big thing. You see, once you start investigating the world of chickens, it's quite a huge thing. People do.
It's quite in-depth, actually. I'm getting the knowledge of when you do have a chicken, what you can expect. Eggs, for example.
Well, yes, I would hope to get eggs. I'd be disappointed if I didn't.
But a few people are saying about eating them. They've had chickens to eat.
My girls are not going to be eaten. No.
But I have met a few people who aren't interested. But we'll have a listen to a few people I met this morning. A couple of guys are out to get their own birds today.
My mum's got them.
Oh, really?
They go everywhere. They're a nightmare.
Oh, so did you grow up with having chickens then?
No, she's only had them recently.
And how did she come about having them?
She likes them as a pet.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And does she use the eggs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the main reason why she has it, for the eggs, yeah.
And when you say they're a nightmare, tell me a bit about that.
Well, it costs more to keep the chickens than it does to get the eggs, basically. It's cheaper to buy the eggs than it is to, with the chickens.
Well, I had them mainly for eggs. And then the odd one we killed for eating. I quite like them. Dog likes them in the garden, so yeah, quite nice.
And they get on with the dog?
Yeah, and we're just going to a show now which sells chicken. Not just chicken, but they will have chicken there for sale.
Yeah.
It's a bird show, but...
And where's that?
That's at Coventry.
Okay.
So...
And what was it like having chickens? Did you have to get a lot of stuff?
No, I used to cook everything that... we had left over, like peelings and all that sort of thing. I used to boil them up, cook them and then give them to them. So it didn't cost a lot. Bit of corn,
And were they noisy or messy?
No, if you've got a cockerel it might be a bit noisy, but other than that, no, not too bad.
And so you think you'd actually recommend it to Iain?
I think it's a good thing, yeah. I do, definitely.
And what about yourself? Do you like chickens?
Oh, I like chicken to eat, yeah.
Would you ever have them as a pet, though?
As a pet, no, I don't believe I would.
No.
I think they'd be on the smelly side at times for that sort of thing, but no. I can remember my father having them in his back garden years ago, but as my mate said, in them days you bred them to eat them sort of thing,
Yeah, but now you don't fancy the hassle?
No. I quite like doing what we do with the smaller type bird,
Yeah, and what do you do?
Well, we buy and sell birds and, seed, parrots.
Budgies and any other type of bird, yeah.
Oh, so you're going to a show today to pick up some new birds, so to speak?
Stock and birds, if with something there that's reasonable price.
Did he say parrots are huge birds? He said he likes trading small birds. Parrots are massive, aren't they?
Yeah, maybe he was talking about the budgie. I don't know.
Where is this bird show that everybody's headed off to?
He said Coventry. Ooh. So there was two guys that I met today. Not everyone's going to Coventry.
Okay, well, no.
But I'm at the service station, and being a bank holiday, there's a lot of people travelling around. I met some guys from Slovenia who were travelling through, and a coach load of people from Germany who had no idea what I was talking about and didn't like chickens.
No, they have a very strange attitude to birds over in Germany. Lorna, would you be offended if I called you love? Oh.
I don't know. I think I might be. I don't know.
No, tell me why. Because I do it. I put you on the list of not. Why would it offend you?
I don't think it would offend me, but I would be a bit taken aback and think, "You're right. I'm not your love." But well, obviously, if you said it, then that's fine.
Darling.
Darling, that's absolutely fine. I like that. Yeah.
Okay, darling. We'll speak later on. Thank you very much indeed. That's Lorna Hankin who does it. It's interesting, but I think younger women. They don't like love, and it is a bit patronising. I know it is, but I do like saying it to an old dear. Are you all right, love? Are you all right, love? Do you know how getting off the bus, love? Because I think they like that, don't they? 08459 455 555. Let's find. There must be a cut-off age where women don't like being referred to as love. Can we find that age? I'm going to say 47. I think we'd be hard pushed to find anybody under 47 who liked being called love, and anybody over 47 who objected to being called love. 08459 455 555 is the phone number. And it's... We get... The chickens are getting the thumbs up from pretty much everybody. I need to check the covenant. I don't quite know what a covenant is. It's something to do with my house. So I guess I should probably know what a covenant is, but I've got no idea. I'm just totally using you as my own Google this morning. Isn't that lazy? Isn't that lazy? Isn't it lazy? Travel news now. Here's David Rees.
Beds, hearts and bucks travel.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Well, Park Street in the A414 at the North Orbital Road. The A405 traffic's moving well. Eastbound on the A41 in Buckingham's not too bad at the moment at the total roundabout, and the A413 London Road. Now, the M25 both directions, narrow lanes and a speed limit of 50 miles an hour due to the roadworks between South Mimms at junction 23, 25 for Enfield. In High Wycombe, New Road, temporary lights for electricity works between Ferny Fields and Squirrel Lane. And in St Albans Folly Lane, water main works continue at West View Road today. On the trains, there's a lot of engineering works causing problems. For Chiltern Railway, suspended between Marylebone and Amersham due to the works, and also for First Capital Connect, no service from Moorgate to Finsbury Park. David Rees, BBC Three Counties Radio.
David, thank you very much indeed. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Coming up in the next hour of the show, I will go through the front pages of the newspapers. If you want to help me out with that, then do give us a call. We're also talking more about the benefit changes that come into place today. And chickens. 08459 455 555. Here's the news now with Ewan Duncan.
Getting beds, hearts and bucks talking.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock, I'm Ewan Duncan. The headlines: local councillor slams bedroom tax, which comes into effect today. Lack of a proper survey can prove false economy for new homeowners. And Anton Deck topped the charts.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Nearly 19,000 people in Beds, Herts and Bucks are due to be affected by changes to housing benefits which are being introduced today. The spare room subsidy, or bedroom tax as it's become known, will affect families who are deemed to have too much living space. They'll be assessed for the number of bedrooms they actually need and could see their benefits cut. Labour councillor Tom Shaw is Luton Borough Council's housing portfolio holder and told this programme he has a clear message about the issue.
I had a case of my surgery on Saturday morning, very, very disabled young man in a two-bedroom bungalow who needs a second room to keep all his gear in for his physio and everything else, and he is very seriously disabled, and he will now be charged for that room. This morning you got 13,000 millionaires, what, £100,000 a year better off. If it's not a tax, what is it?
1 in 5 home buyers who don't bother to have a proper survey done are said to end up with expensive faults to repair in their new homes. Research among more than 1,000 buyers conducted by Comres for the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors showed that on average the remedial work costs nearly £6,000. Changes in legal aid have come into force in England and Wales today. According to some estimates, the number of people who qualify for help with legal bills for civil cases will fall by 3/4. Clive Coleman has more.
Until today, legal aid for those with civil legal problems was based on their means and the merits of their case. That's now changed. The government wants to save £350 million from the annual £2.1 billion legal aid budget. So, it's removing public funding from entire areas of civil law, including family cases where couples are divorcing and sorting out living arrangements for their children, unless there's proven domestic violence. Funding goes for advice on welfare benefits, employment, debt and some housing problems.
TV hosts Sant and Dec are celebrating their first #1 single 17 years after their chart career as Biker Grove characters PJ and Duncan came to an end. They prompted a download dash for their 1994 hit Let's Get Ready to Rumble after performing the track on their Saturday night takeaway show last weekend. In sport, MK Dons, Stevenage, Wickham and Luton are all in league action today. The Dons host Brentford in League 1, while Stevenage are at home to Hartlepool. Wickham go to Morecambe in League 2, while Luton host conference leaders Kidderminster. And it'll be mainly dry today, but cloudy with some bright or sunny spells. It will continue to feel cold as the maximum temperature reaches 5 degrees Celsius. There's more news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties. BBC 3 Counties Radio, first for news.
Thank you, Ewan. Wow, look. It's gone 8 o'clock. By George, I think we might make it to the end of this show. It's a three-legged donkey, but it's certainly running the track. What does that mean? Good morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC 3 Counties Radio. A slightly more laid-back show this morning. It's Bank Holiday Monday. It's that weird kind of, OK, I forgot to book the day off. That's why I'm here. I forgot to book the day off, and suddenly I'm in a rota, and what's a rota? I don't know, but I can't get out of it. Anyway, it's a pleasure to be here, is what I'm trying to say. Got some bits and pieces coming up in the last hour of the show, including the first of a series of sweeping changes to the tax and benefit system comes into force today. I'll tell you what they are and how you could be affected. Thinking of getting chickens, good idea? Or are they going to be noisy and cost me a lot of money? And what on earth is a covenant? Oh, for goodness sakes. And how would you feel if someone called you love? I think there's a cut-off point. I think the age is 47. People below 47, they don't like being called love. People over 47, they don't mind. It's quite nice. Ooh, a bit flirty. Facebook.com/BBC3CR. You can send me a text, 81333. Start your text 3CR. Or you can give me a call, 08 459 455 555. Also, if you want to go through the front pages of the newspapers with me, give your views on the stories, you can call that number as well. 08 459 455 555.
BBC 3 Counties Radio.
My woman keep me
tapping my toes. It's a bank holiday Monday. Happy days. Well, happy days for me, not happy days for a lot of people. It's the 1st of April, which means the government's long-awaited welfare changes come into effect today. One of the biggest issues has arisen from the spare room subsidy, or what's being called by some people the bedroom tax. Just under 19,000 people in Beds, Herts and Bucks are due to be affected. The government says it'll make the system fairer and it will reduce the billions spent on housing benefit. Well, Claudia Wood is Deputy Director of Demos, a cross-party think tank focusing on power and politics. Morning, Claudia.
Morning.
What's your take on this the reduction in benefits for, or the bedroom tax, as people are calling it?
Well, in and of itself, the principle of trying to deal with the fact that we have a lot of people living in houses that are too big for them, and we have a real shortage of social housing that is the right size, is, it's true, and we should encourage people to downsize. I think the problem with this is the implementation of it, in a way. The idea is that we try and make people downsize by reducing their housing benefit for larger homes, but there aren't enough smaller homes for people to move into, so they have very little choice other than to be penalised. They can't actually move and respond to this penalty. We also have to remember that the policy excludes older people, and obviously older people are much more likely to have a spare bedroom that they could potentially sacrifice. So, the policy, the principle in itself is fine. It's just the implementation that worries me.
Why do you think they've got it wrong? Because it's been widely discussed for a long time that there is a housing shortage. So how have the government got this so wrong?
Well, it's one of these things, isn't it? When the options are, we can either try and achieve this goal by reducing our spending, or we can try and achieve this goal by spending more on building houses. They've obviously gone for the kind of cheaper option. The problem obviously will be is that over the long run this is going to cost them more money, because what will happen is those that can't afford that reduction in housing benefit will have to leave the house. And because there are no available properties in the area, they'll say to the local authority, well, I want to leave, you're going to have to move me now. And that local authority will have to put them in B&Bs, which is very expensive, or they'll have to go into the private sector where rent is much higher and their housing benefit claim will be higher than it was before. So there's a real false economy in it. And I just don't understand how they've not realised that this is actually going to cost money.
Well, the government is arguing that it will help cut the £23 billion annual bill for housing benefit. You disagree with that?
Yeah, I think what we'll see is I mean, they themselves have said over a third of people are likely to be put into arrears as a result of this. So what we'll see is more people in arrears, potentially more people being evicted, which costs local authorities money to rehouse and evict and re-seize the property. We'll see people being put into B&Bs. We'll see people going into the private sector because they can't, because there's just a chronic shortage of smaller properties for these people to move into.
Will anyone benefit from this, Claudia?
I'm struggling to think. I mean, there will be some people that are lucky enough to be able to move as a result of this reduction. I wouldn't call them winners because there's obviously the disruption of moving home. I think had they have applied it to older people and had they have done it in a way which actually helped people move and actually found people smaller places, then this could have been actually quite a useful policy.
Why did they exclude pensioners from this?
Well, there's the manifesto promise. It's the reason why pensioners are excluded from most benefit cuts, and it's the fact that we're not going to penalise those that have worked all their lives and have put in money, and we're going to protect the older people, which is all well and good. But when you're seeing such reductions at the working age end, you've got to remember these working age people who are being penalised now could in a couple of years be those pensioners that you're trying to protect, and they just then enter older age in severe poverty.
You and I assume your group think this is a bad idea. I guess we're not really going to know until maybe a couple of years down the line. What do you think the long-term effects of this will be?
Well, we're kind of already getting a hint of what the long-term effects are going to be, because we've already seen an increase in homelessness even before this policy was started. You've got to remember this is one of several things that are happening in April. There are lots of different cuts going on, including cuts in the private rented sector, so that people's housing benefit can only pay for a certain amount of private rental as well. You've got council tax benefit cuts, an overall benefit cap, DLA, PIP, all these. There are about 10 things going on this month, so it's a really busy month. And I think combined that will mean it's not just a long-term effect. I think in the short term you will see evictions, homelessness, the B&B occupancy rate, where you've got families in temporary accommodations, going to go through the roof. That's what you'll see in the short term.
The benefit system it serves a fantastic purpose, and I've said before, it helped me out when I was having a tricky time a few years ago. It is flawed. Is there a better way to make sure that the people who need benefits get them and the people who could work do?
Yeah, but I think it is tricky, and I understand why the government is going for the sort of cheapest option, if you like, the kind of bluntest option, which is just let's put a penalty on everyone and let's see what happens. I think if you wanted to do this in a more effective way, you have to put a little bit of investment in and a lot more thought in terms of improving the welfare to work system, so you actually get people who could work, help them in a bit more of a bespoke way, rather than just saying, well, we'll just keep cutting your money until you're forced to work. We know that doesn't work in this economy. Even in boom times, it's not the most effective way of doing things. So I think, looking at welfare to work, looking at encouragement for people to downsize, more of the kind of carrot and less of the stick. I think it might be the way to go.
Claudia, thank you very much indeed. Claudia Wood there, Deputy Director of Demos, a cross-party think tank focusing on power and politics. Well, what do you think? 08459 455 555. Do you think that these changes, in specific, the reduction in housing benefit, the bedroom tax, do you think they're quite a good idea, that we need to save money and this is the best way to do it? Or do you think they're cruel and callous? 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. Let's have a little bit of Adele, shall we? She's had a fight with Joan Rivers. Joan Rivers called her fat. There's no need for that, but...
This is the end. Hold your breath and count to 10. Feel the earth move and then hear my heart burst again. For this is the end. I've drowned and dreamt this moment, so overdue I owe them. Swept away, I'm stolen. Let the sky fall when it crumbles. We will stand tall, face it all together.
sky fall. Let the sky fall.
Here's a little bit of Adele there, having a Barney with Joan Rivers, who called her fat. That's rude. I mean, it's rude, isn't it? Yes, it is. Let's leave it there, shall we? This is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. It's bank holiday shows are always a little bit more relaxed, a little bit easier. And to be honest, the reason I'm here is I forgot to take the day off. Let's be honest. All of the other presenters were sensible enough to go bank holiday. Get out of it. Me, what? Sorry. Yes, I'll be in. Well, joined now by Barry Hyde. Barry, you're filling in for Jonathan Vernon-Smith.
Yes, the reserves are in place.
Yeah, well,
the Fifth Cavalry has arrived.
You say the reserves. Let's be honest. He's been touting that act for far too long. Maybe it's time for him to move on to pastures new, Barry.
Yeah, gives a job then, Ian. I'd be very grateful. You know, it's a hard world. Since I was put on the scrap heap last December.
Oh, bless
when
you.
the 70s album show came to an end, I've been sitting in a darkened room.
Playing Pink Floyd and Yes and crying Lonely Tears, have you?
Oh, Tears from a Wondrous Heart or whatever, yeah.
You're in today, and it's nice to meet you. I'm very familiar with your voice, and it's lovely to finally meet you and say hello. What have you got? Have you got anything on the show? We're kind of just throwing anything to the wall and seeing what sticks this morning.
I thought I'd just sit here quietly, actually, and sort of read the paper or something. No, I'm doing a show called Three Counties Gold.
Lovely.
And you might think, oh, golly, it's just another old gold show. Well, it's not. What we're doing, we're playing music that comes from the three counties.
Oh.
We are playing music from bands who were formed here, artists who were born here, people with a strong link to the three counties. And I tell you what, it's amazing the amount of talent there is around the three counties.
Give me a couple of names then. Give me a couple of names.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start the show with one of my favourite musicians of all time. Born in Luton, he lives in Milton Keynes. He's a splendid fellow, a wonderful guitarist.
David Bowie.
Does he live in Milton Keynes?
I'm guessing. Possibly not.
No, I'll give you a couple of clues. He actually formed Jethro Tull. He played in a band called Bloodwind Pig.
Yes.
I refer to Mick Abrahams.
Oh, fantastic.
He's an incredible guitarist. And then we've got people like Marillion. We've got the Zombies. We're not just playing old music. I'm bringing it right up to date. We've got a Bedford band called Don Broco, who are a wonderful sort of modern band. They're just bubbling under at the moment. They've had an album out.
Fantastic.
We're going right back because, of course, back in the 40s, there was a strong association between Bedford and the US.
Yep.
Because there was a guy called Glenn Miller who was based here.
Was he based here?
He was based in Bedford.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he spent a couple of years based in Bedford. He used to play in Bedford. He played at the Corn Exchange, and it would be broadcast across the world by the BBC.
Really?
Yeah, indeed.
How wonderful
and of course,
is that?
He took off from Twinfield Aerodrome, RAF to Twinfield.
Yes.
When he tragically was killed, of course.
Yes. That was the Glenn Miller mystery.
Absolutely. The Jimmy Stewart film. What a great film that
is. It's a cracking film, isn't it? That's a Bank Holiday Monday film. That's the kind of film you want to whack on at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, as long as it's after the Three Counties Gold show.
As long as it's
between
after
9 and 11.
Listen, very nice to meet you. Thank you very much for coming in. Enjoy yourself.
Lovely,
I shall be listening.
Nice to see you.
Thank you. Right, 08459 455 555 is the phone number.
Easter Monday on BBC Three Counties Radio. From 9, it's Barry Hyde.
It's Three Counties Gold, playing music from the 40s to the noughties.
From 11, Sophie Solaria.
We'll be talking house and gardens. Get your questions ready for my team of gardening and interior designing experts.
From 2, Three Counties Sport.
We're here with live football as MK Dons host Brentford, Stevenage entertain Hartlepool, and Luton are at home to Kidderminster.
Rounding off the weekend from 6, Ian Brown.
I'll be talking to guests from Viva Forever, Burn the Floor, and the hottest show in London at the moment.
Easter Monday on BBC Three Counties Radio.
I'm using BBC Three Counties Radio, first for news, as my own personal Google today. I'm seriously considering getting chickens. 3 chickens, 3 hens. I saw some chicks at the weekend. I got talking to the farmer, and for the first time in my life, I'm thinking I might get some hens. It'd be great for the boys to see, the circle of life, to see where their food comes from, to be responsible. Because to be honest, the cat has got no interest in my kids whatsoever. And imagine every morning, open the door, we go out to the garden, the boys get their own eggs for breakfast, cook them. Fantastic. Rob's in Flitwick. Rob, is it a ridiculous idea?
Not at all, no. Why should it be?
Well, I'm worried. I'm worried about my neighbours. I'm worried about this thing called a covenant. I'm worried that 2 weeks into it, I'm going to get bored.
No, you won't get bored with it. No, not at all.
Have you got hens?
We've got one at the moment because she won't put up with any more.
Oh, right.
When we do a rescue, we bring home the damaged ones and injured ones because very often they've got a broken leg or broken wing.
Where do you rescue them from?
Well, we get them from an ex-battery farm.
Oh.
I can't really tell you where it is.
No, don't give us the details. Don't give us the details. You get them from a battery farm, and so you rescue chickens.
Yeah. We in fact were the very first ex-battery hen rescue organisation in the country.
Oh, look at you showing off, as rightfully you should do. I've been years and years ago. I remember this so well. My sister and I often talk about this. I was about 6-7 years old, and we went on a camping holiday. My mum and dad booked a caravan on a farm. Okay, and every morning we go out and speak to the farmer. And it was in Swanage, and the farmer said, "Do you want to come and see my hens?" And we're like, I'm 7 years old. I'd love to come and see your hens. This sounds awesome. And he took us into the hugest shed I've ever seen in my life, full of battery hens. It was the most, as a 7-year-old, it was the most distressing thing and distressing sound I've ever seen and heard. It was awful.
It was for me as a 50-year-old.
Oh, man.
First time I went in the battery shed. It was awful. And I was 50.
So how many hens have you rescued over the years?
Including the last rescue we did, 7,519.
What? You don't. Well, do you rehome them? You can't keep all of them.
No, we don't. We rehome them. We've got a website.
Okay.
And there's people actually send people to our website.
Yeah.
It's quite a big interest in expatriate hens. Well, they're not actually expatriate hens now because the law changed.
Yeah. Give us the website, Rob, so people can go and have a look.
It's www.3-last.org.uk.
Rob, listen, thank you very much indeed for that. Well, you've rescued over 7,500 hens. That's incredible. I think I'm going to go for the chicks.
I don't know why you think that you could help me when you couldn't get by yourself. And I don't know who would ever want to tell the seam of someone's dream. Baby, it's fine. You said that we should just be friends while I came up with that line. And I'm sure that it's for the best. If you ever change your mind, don't hold your breath. Look, you may not believe that, baby, I'm relieved when you said goodbye, my whole world shined. Hey, it's a beautiful day and I can't stop myself from smiling. If I drink and then I'm buying, and I know there's no denying. It's a beautiful day, the sun is up, the music's playing, and if it started raining, you won't hear this boy complaining, 'cause I'm glad that you're the one who got away. It's a beautiful day. It's my turn to fly, so girls get in line, 'cause I'm easy, no playing this guy like a fool. Now I'm alright. You might have had me caged before, but not tonight. And you may not believe that, baby, I'm relieved. This fire inside, yeah, burns too bright. I don't want to stay so long, I just want to say goodbye. It's a beautiful day and I can't stop myself from smiling. If I drink and then I'm buying, and I know there's no denying that it's a beautiful day, the sun is up and the music's playing, and even if it started raining, you won't hear this boy complaining, 'cause I'm glad that you're the one who got away. I'll take up my time with thinking of our breakup. Then you've got another thing coming your way. 'Cause it's a beautiful day. Beautiful day. Oh, baby, any day that you're gone away. It's a beautiful day.
Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio, 08459 455 555. We're mixing the light with the serious this morning as a new raft of benefits and benefit changes come into place today. What do you think about them? Good idea or a bad idea? A couple of other things. Chickens, if you own them or you live next door to someone who owns them, could you give me a call? And would you be offended if I called you love? 08459 455 555. Here's the travel news now with David Rees.
Beds, Herts and Bucks travel.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the roads at the moment, there aren't any major delays or problems to report. For the trains, Chiltern Railway are suspended between Marylebone and Amersham due to engineering works. Greater Anglia services from Liverpool Street to Cambridge and Hertford East. Revised service there due to engineering works. And no service on First Capital Connect, Moorgate to Finsbury Park, engineering works. David Rees, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, David. 8:30 exactly. Here's the news and sport with Ewan Duncan.
Getting beds, hearts and bugs talking.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Nearly 19,000 people in Beds, Herts and Bucks are due to be affected by changes to housing benefit which come into effect today. The spare room subsidy, or bedroom tax as it's become known, will affect families who are deemed to have too much living space. Access to legal aid in England and Wales has been restricted. Help will no longer be available for many family cases when couples are divorcing or for advice on benefits, employment and some other problems. 1 in 5 home buyers who don't have a proper survey done are said to end up with expensive faults to sort out in their new homes. Research says the repairs often cost many thousands of pounds. And the history of Elstree Studios is being made into a film to mark its centenary. People who work there, including actors such as Sir Roger Moore, are being interviewed to form an archive of its past.
Beds, Herts and Bucks Sport.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
We start with football. Milton Keynes Dons host Brentford in League One today. The Dons are 9 points off the playoffs with games in hand. Manager Carl Robinson says there's still hope.
All you can do is worry about yourselves. If we can put a performance in against a very good Brentford side on Monday and get the victory, it will put us right in the mix. And that's the challenge that's being set for the rest of the players.
Graham Westley takes charge of his first match today since his return to Stevenage. It's his third spell with the club. His side play Hartlepool and Westley's hopeful for more success.
I guess the club, wants to progress, and I want somewhere, again where I can progress further. So, ambition, I suppose, is the link that keeps myself and Stevenage together.
Wickham are in the northwest to face Morecambe in League Two today. The Chairboys are still looking for one more win to avoid getting dragged back into the relegation struggle. Luton Town entertained the conference leaders Kidderminster Harriers at Kenilworth Road. The Hatters drew 2-2 at Cambridge on Saturday. Despite rotating his team in recent weeks, Luton boss John Still says he won't make many changes for today's game.
Would I tinker? Not too much, no, because I have to respect the other teams, that are up there fighting for that number one spot. So we need to be, reasonably competitive in our selection.
Also today, Chelsea host Manchester United in their FA Cup quarter-final replay, with the winners facing Manchester City at Wembley in the semi-finals. Elsewhere, Paolo Di Canio signed a 2.5-year contract to become the new manager of Sunderland. He takes over following the sacking of Martin O'Neill, with the Premier League side only 1 point above the relegation zone in 16th place. Staying in the Premier League, Aston Villa remain in the bottom three after losing 2-1 at home to Liverpool yesterday. In Rugby's Championship yesterday, Bedford won by 26 points to 18 away to Cornish Pirates. The Blues remain third in the table. In tennis, Andy Murray's up to second in the world rankings after winning the Miami Masters title. Murray came from a set down and also saved a match point as he beat Spain's David Ferrer in 3 sets. Oxford led from start to finish to beat Cambridge in the 159th boat race yesterday. And finally, you can follow all today's sport on Three Counties Sport from 2. BBC Three Counties Radio, first for news.
Across beds, hearts and bucks, this is Iain Lee on BBC Three Counties Radio.
I don't want to diss something that's, an integral part of Britain and British life. Am I the only person, apart from that idiot that jumped in the water last year, that really couldn't give a stuff about the boat race? And the BBC yesterday, I didn't watch it, I've got this news second-hand, there was a 70-minute lead-up. The programme was about 70 minutes long, and then the boat race started. I'm guessing, and this is a guess, was it Balding? Was Balding involved with the boat race? Balding's involved with everything these days, isn't she? Boring sport, let's get Balding. Where's Balding's number? 08459 455 555. Lots of things to talk about in the last 30 minutes. If you want to give us a call. Chickens. Have you got some? Are they worth it? I guess more importantly, I want to know if you're a neighbour. If the person next door to you has got chickens. Because do they make a noise? Do they disturb you? This is what I'm worried about, is disturbing my neighbours. 08459 455 555. Would you be offended, girls, if I called you love? Probably more offended I've just called you girls. Is love? Is that a patronising term? I've found as I'm getting older, I think it's maybe because since my dad passed as well, because he used to do it, I'm calling people love a lot. I don't know, am I offending people? My friend the other day said, I can't believe they called that a woman love. I said, oh, she loves it. And she did, she loved it. 08459 455 555. And the changes, well, some of the changes to benefits that take place today, they're enforced today. What do you think? Things like the bedroom tax and the reduction in housing benefit. Do you think they're a terrible, unfair idea? Or are you actually going, hang on a second, why is everyone complaining? This is quite sensible. We need to do something. And making people, cutting the benefits of people who've got a spare room or two, it makes perfect sense. 08459 455 555. Another 25 minutes of this nonsense. If you want to give us a call now would be an excellent time to do it. 08459 455 555. Or you can follow me on Twitter at Iain Lee. IAINLEE. Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Why are we playing the Detroit Spinners at 20 to 9? I'll tell you why. It's a bank holiday show. And it's, we've kind of... I'm not wearing my smart shoes. I'm wearing my Converse today. It's a little bit more relaxed. I say relaxed. These cons are killing me. I've not worn them for ages. And I remembered why I don't wear them is because they really hurt my little toe on my right foot. It's exactly what's happening today. Would you be offended if I called you love? I'm primarily addressing this to the ladies, but some of you, sometimes I do get a little bit lovey and a bit theatrical. And there are blokes I call love. I know. All right, love. Well, there's got to be a cut-off point, isn't there? I would imagine if you're under 47, you don't like it. Anything over that, you're getting on a bit, you probably find it quite charming. Well, our reporter, Lorna Hankin, who doesn't like it, has been finding out what you think. Lorna.
All right, love.
All right, love. All right, girl. See, girl's a bit common.
Girl's all right.
It's a bit common, though. Yeah, it's a bit common. You strike me as quite well to do. If I were to...
Really?
All right, girl.
Thanks.
Well,
It implies I'm young, though. That's why I like it.
You're quite young, aren't you? Younger than me, I tell you that for a start. All right, so you've been speaking to people on the subject of love.
I have, and the general consensus seems to be if you know the person, it's fine.
Yep.
If it's a complete stranger, it's just a bit rude. Oh. And that's kind of what people have been saying to me today, but have a listen to what they've actually said.
It depends what kind of sense it was in. If it was like at work, I get it all the time, so I just take it as a joke, but yeah, I would if it was like out on a night out or something.
Yeah, and may I ask how old you are?
I'm nearly 21.
Yeah, and do you think that older people don't mind it so much?
In a sense, yeah, like older people do take it more as a joke kind of thing.
Yeah, but you get called love at work, do you?
Yeah,
by your colleagues?
Not by the colleagues, by like football fans or anything. They come in and they just start messing around. So yeah, I just take it as a joke at work.
Yeah.
Most old people use it. You're right, love.
Say to you anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the right word to say it.
But you think older people tend to use it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and would you say it to women, presumably, or men?
Never to a man.
Never to a man.
100% woman.
Would it offend you if I said, "You're right, love"?
Wouldn't offend me, no, but it's not words that I use.
Yeah. And as a guy, would you ever say that to a lady that you wouldn't know, for example?
No.
No.
It doesn't sound respectful.
Yeah. And what about other words like darling or hun? Is it something you save for maybe a partner?
Yeah, someone you're familiar with, not a stranger.
If a guy called you love, would that be all right, or would you be offended?
No, I'm not offended. I'm used to English people doing that on the phone all the time, so no, I'm not bothered.
So where are you from?
From Lithuania.
And would people say that, or have you got an equivalent of that
No.
people would say?
Not normally, no.
So when you first came here, did you find it a bit weird?
It was a bit weird, but now I'm used to it, so that's fine.
And do you like it?
Not particularly, especially in business world.
Yeah, but you're used to it.
But it doesn't stand out anymore, so it's okay.
Look, see, Lorna, there is nothing more satisfying than helping an old lady off a bus and saying, "You're right, love, do you need a hand?"
That is true. And also, when I go and see my friend in Nottingham, they go, "You're right, duck." They call you a duck up there.
Nottingham's not that far up north.
They say duck. I've been called a duck before.
Well, again, I think maybe you should look in the mirror and question marks. They do. See, up north, they are a bit more affectionate, aren't they? In all of this kind of thing with the loves and the chucks and all of that stuff. I think down the further south you come, once you get to the Three Counties and beyond, everyone's so cold.
Well, it's not that they're cold, they're just a bit more polite, shall we say.
You being diplomatic.
Well, I don't know if that is. That's me saying the North's rude. I don't quite mean it like that.
Lorna, listen, thank you very much indeed. 08459 455 555. Dennis is in Dunstable. Morning, Dennis.
Good morning, love.
Hello, my darling. All right, sweetheart.
I'm a northern. I'm Mancunian, and we...
I'm sorry to hear that.
Everybody, we used to say love to everybody.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything sexual. It was wishing them having a nice time.
But Lorna was just saying there that Lorna said the north is ruder. I wouldn't go that far. But it is down south, once you get to sort of the Three Counties and more southerly than that, people are a little bit more reserved, aren't they?
Well, especially when I open the door for something, they don't bother to say thank you. I think they're very reserved, yeah.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that.
Stand up in on the old days, if you stood up in a bus to let a lady sit down, she either thanked you. Now they look as though you've done something wrong,
I don't offer women seats on buses and trains unless they're old or pregnant. And the reason why is because women, you burnt your bras, you fought for liberation, you threw yourself in front of horses for the votes. If you want liberation, then you should be standing up and giving me a seat.
Congratulations.
It's right, isn't it?
Yes, sure.
Totally right. You want to be equal, then you offer me a seat from time to time.
I'm a very old man now, so they ought to bloody well they ought to stand up for me.
I did have the other day, this is true, about 6 months ago, some kids on a bus. They were about 15. Would you like to sit down, sir? To me, Dennis. I'm still in my late 30s.
Well, that's all right. Some youngster thought because I'd been in the Navy that I knew Nelson.
Dennis, chickens. Should I get some?
Yes, why not?
Be a bit of fun, wouldn't it?
Well, no, because you've got young children and they'll be very interested in seeing what's going on.
I've been told, a lot of people texting and Facebooking, they stink. The poop stinks.
Well, I don't know. Does it? If you clean the place up regularly, why should it?
Okay.
I mean, talk about a dog, that's a different matter.
Oh, dogs are horrible.
But, I mean, you could go outside and be hit by something from a pigeon flying by anyway, so what's a little bit of poo?
Why is that supposed to be lucky?
I don't know. It was never lucky when I was in the Navy, but that was before I knew Nelson.
Dennis, thank you very much indeed. Well, let's get the weather now. Georgina Burnett.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Well, it's a frosty start to the bank holiday this morning for most of us, but we'll be left with a mainly dry but cloudy day. There will be the odd bright spell here and there, but also a few isolated wintry showers. I say isolated because not all parts will see any, but when they do fall, it should be quite light anyway. We will all be feeling this rather brisk easterly breeze, though, particularly this afternoon when it becomes quite gusty, and that's going to take the edge off the daytime highs. So temperatures reaching 5 degrees Celsius, but probably not feeling that way in the wind. And tonight, any clouds should have shifted, leaving us with a fairly clear but cold night. A hard frost is likely to develop again, and temperatures dipping down to -2 degrees. Tomorrow should be a much brighter day, though largely dry with just a spot of cloud, but plenty of bright spells. It will still be cold, though, with that wind strengthening and highs of 6 degrees Celsius. So really, the theme for this week is going to be the overnight frosts and that wind, which will strengthen throughout the week and sort of gradually change direction. Certainly not feeling very spring-like this week.
Yeah. Georgina, I heard on Radio 4 the other day, so it must be true, this cold spell could go on for another couple of weeks.
Well, yes. We are thinking that they're going to stay below the average for until about the middle of April. And then come middle of April, hopefully they should then return to the sort of average temperatures that we would expect. So they'll still rise gradually, as they would normally, but just below the average until about mid-April. So keep your long johns in the cupboard.
I was tricked yesterday by the bright sunshine yesterday morning. I thought, here it comes, and then by the afternoon it was gone.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? You look out the window and you think, oh, it's warm today, and it's not.
Georgina, thank you very much indeed.
Tackling your consumer problems.
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
My son took it back to the garage. The mechanic says, I know what it is. So they took it in, done what they had to do, and the car was still the same, still doing the same thing.
The JVS Show.
Fighting for your rights.
The long and short of it is, he agreed that he would replace the car.
If you have a consumer problem,
we can do the same for you.
I'd like to thank you and your team for everything you've done. We wouldn't have got where we got without you.
It's a pleasure. I'm going to call that a result. Any other problems, you know where I am, Stuart.
The JVS Show.
Fighting for your rights.
Weekday mornings from 9 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
I'll squeeze the papers in before 9 o'clock. Promise. Well, I'll promise I'll do my best. I can't guarantee anything here.
Shut down by your bullets. They shatter my faith and my bones. If you listen to words, they hurt, they creep right under my skin. They cut so deep. Oh, can't you understand? I don't want battles.
think that lady's name is Alisa. I'm not 100%. Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. 08459 455 555. Last 10 minutes of the show before Barry comes in and takes over and does his thing. Let's go to Pam in Hatfield. Morning, Pam.
Good morning, Ian.
Pam, chickens.
Yes.
Good idea or a bad idea?
Oh, brilliant idea.
Ooh.
Brilliant idea. Once you've had your own eggs,
yeah,
you'll never buy eggs again.
Well, this is the thing. We quite often, when we can, we do buy eggs from a farm shop because they are so much better than the ones you get in your supermarkets. Yeah. But also, just the thought of going out with my two lads, 3 and 1, every morning. Oh, have we got any eggs this morning? Let's go and have a look. Oh, look, you've got it. You found it. Right, let's go in and cook that. And just them getting their eggs straight from the source.
Yeah. Yeah, I still get a buzz from it as well.
How many hens have you got?
I've got 8.
Hey, okay.
I've got 5 of indeterminate brown type.
Yes.
And then I've got 3 black Orpingtons.
I've heard of the black Orpingtons.
Yeah.
I'm aware of them. Are they, what's the difference, though? Do they do different coloured eggs? What's the plan?
No, they do have a lovely, I mean, the shells, it's only the colour of the shell. The egg inside is exactly the same.
Yeah.
And they're more like what I call more torpedo shape.
Oh,
yes. More of a long, pointy shape.
I didn't know chicken eggs could be different shapes. Wonderful.
Yes, I have one of my hens lays very round, small round eggs.
Yeah.
And then another one lays, they're slightly different. You get to know which hens laid which egg eventually.
Really?
Yeah.
How funny. Yeah. Are they noisy?
They're not as noisy as cockerels.
Yeah, well, I'm not getting one of them. That's not happening.
And then most of the day you don't notice them, but occasionally they'll come out very pleased that they've laid an egg.
Right. So there's a little squawk when the egg comes out.
Just squawking around. Or if I let mine out into the garden during the day.
Yeah.
They're in a secure pen at night. And if I don't let them out in the mornings, they let me know.
See, I'm worried. We've only just moved into our house, and we've got neighbours sort of on either side, and I am worried that we've been there a month, and we're going to get noisy chickens, and they'll hate us for it.
They're generally not noisy.
Okay.
No, they're not noisy. I mean, I've got neighbours both sides. I mean, they're happy enough when I've got a spare eggs. I give them eggs when I've got a spare.
Paul Scoynes, who is, you probably won't have heard of him, he's our political correspondent.
Yes, I know. Yeah, Paul.
You're aware of Paul and his work, and I use that term very, very loosely.
Yes.
We did a whole show recently where I laughed at him for making bread. I said, well, what's the point of making bread? You can buy it in shops.
Yeah, no, make bread.
Oh, Pam, you old hippie.
Yes, I've got bread maker as well.
You old head, you.
Yeah.
Well, Paul has emailed in. They've got nothing better to do on his day off than get in touch with me.
Yes.
By the way, the chicken thing, I refer to your comments about me making bread and the availability of eggs in shops.
Yeah, no, not this. I mean, I gave some eggs to a friend of mine who's never had what I call real eggs.
Yeah,
and
eggs.
She was just ran up to me and going, your eggs.
Yeah.
They're just fantastic.
Yeah.
Going back to the black Orpingtons,
yes.
I did a Google thing on them to find out about them.
Yeah.
And apparently they're very good with children. But mind, they do come to you. You go out the garden, and I have my Chucky Chirk call.
Go on then, to see your Chucky Chirk.
Oh, I just say, come on, Chucky Chirks. And wherever they are, under a bush or sitting somewhere in the garden, they come charging down the garden.
I bet they do when you come up with your Chucky Chirks. Pam, thank you for that. I'm just going to move on because I want to try and squeeze Shirley and Milton Keynes on if we can. Morning, Shirley.
Good morning, Ian.
You've called in about the, in inverted commas, bedroom tax.
Yes.
Go on.
Yes, I think it's very ill thought out.
Why?
Well, if for one thing, there's nowhere for people to downsize to.
Yep.
And another thing, if people can't pay and they get evicted, where are all their belongings going to go? Who's going to put them in storage? Who's going to pay for that storage?
Well,
that hasn't been thought about.
A lot of this has. It would appear the people against it would appear that this is going to create homelessness. Although the Conservatives would deny this, and it will end up being the council that pay for this. So it could cost more.
Of course, it will. I mean, is there the storage units for people to put their things into store if they have to?
Well, Shirley, listen, we have to end it there, only because we're out of time. Thank you very much for coming on and making your point. We will be following this, of course, as it progresses. Let's just squeeze in a quick Beatles song, shall we? Yes.
One day you'll look to see I've gone, for tomorrow may rain, so I'll follow the sun. Someday you'll know I was the one, but tomorrow may rain, so I'll follow the sun. sun. And now the time has come, and so my love I must go. And though I lose a friend, in the end you will know. Oh, one day you'll find that I have gone, but tomorrow may rain, so I'll follow the sun. Yes, tomorrow may rain, so I'll follow the sun. And now the time has come, and so my love I must go. And though I lose a friend, in the end you will know. Oh, one day you'll find that I have gone, but tomorrow may rain, so I'll follow the sun.
We were dancing around, me and my one-year-old were dancing like lunatics the other day to the Beatles in my living room. We put on Past Masters Volume 1. Oh, it was wonderful! The little boy loves a boogie. He does a little kind of river dance. He jogs very, very quickly on the spot when music comes on, and we are having a lovely little boogie to the Beatles. Fantastic. Well, look, we kind of stumbled our way through the last 3 hours. I think we managed to get away with it. If you've got to... I've been starting to get emails from you. And I do appreciate it. If therethere's anything that you think we should be talking about on this show, don't be shy. Do send me an email, ian.lee@bbc.co.uk. It's ian.lee@bbc.co.uk. It could be something huge that's happening in your county, or it could be a tiny thing that you think possibly only affects you. Do let me know, and if we think it's worthwhile, we'll cover it on the show. Right, let's get the travel news now. Here's David Rees.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks travel.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the road at the moment, there aren't any major delays or problems to report. Not a lot about, actually, at all. Traffic seems to be quite light. For the trains, Chiltern Railway do have a suspended service from Marylebone to Amersham due to the engineering works. And First Capital Connect, no service from Moorgate to Finsbury Park because of works as well. And London Midland, there's no service between Bedford and Bletchley. Southern services out of Watford Junction to Milton Keynes Central suspended today, not running Easter Monday today. And there's a revised service for Chiltern Railway where they are running, and a revised timetable for East Midland trains, a Saturday timetable. David Rees, BBC Three Counties Radio.
David, thank you very much indeed. Well, that's it. That's your lot from us. We will be back tomorrow at 6 o'clock, here every weekday morning, 6 till 9. It'll be normal service will resume tomorrow. Don't panic. We'll be kind of back to as things were. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you to everyone who took part. Don't forget to send me an email, ian.lee@bbc.co.uk. Right, Barry Hyde is up next. I'm back tomorrow at 6. Ta-ta.
Getting beds, hearts and bucks talking.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 9 o'clock. I'm Ewan Duncan. The headlines. Local councillor says housing benefit change